Good evening. Good evening. It's Monday. It's St. Patrick's Day. And I forgot to mute my laptop, so I'm hearing myself in stereo. There we go. Professional streamer. Eh? How are we all doing? How was everyone's weekend? Do we have any Newcastle fans enjoying what I would imagine for any of them would be the first trophy they've ever seen the club lift? An incredible moment, even if it was the lesser of two evils winning for most neutrals' perspective. So we've got some glorious people in already. We have the delightful, the wonderful Blue Lions, kind of a little bit ruining Chelsea's performance yesterday, which I understand. So I get what you mean with Arsenal being at the weakest. It feels like a missed opportunity, but also kind of probably where the seasons are at for respective teams. Lovely to have you in, my dude. We have a little bit of Hungdamin in as well. Welcome in, Hungdamin. I hope you're doing very, very well. Ben is here, Crab Lungs. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. I appreciate that. It has sounded like a pretty tumultuous few months for you. No one wants to start the year with heavy workloads like that. I can imagine it's been exhausting, but I'm glad to see you're keeping well. Lovely to have you in, my dude. Zeratul is here as well. He wishes good evening to all you young dashing men of the internet. I wonder where they are though. Actually, I don't. That now makes me sound like some kind of predator, especially whilst I'm rubbing my hands. I hope there are plenty of dashing young men on the internet somewhere. I don't know what I'm saying. You've got me in a bind already. Welcome in, my dude. Flexium, welcome in as well. Now, Flexium is struggling at the moment, or not struggling, but it's talking about the challenge that you face when you play a game and you find it quite easy to sell your players and bring in a whole new squad and bring success within a couple of seasons. And certainly what I would advise is, taking maybe a different approach. Maybe look at restricting what kind of players you can sign, maybe look locally, or maybe specifically focus on a secondary nationality or something that means that you have to reconsider which players you keep, which players you sell, and maybe be a bit more cautious on the selling as well. But if anyone here in chat has other ideas they would like to give to help Flexium change up his game experience, I'd love to hear from you. Be absolutely brilliant. Now, Flexium, you're over on YouTube. As you can see, the chat from Twitch is it that side? Yeah, I think it's on that side. So you will be able to read their responses. I will be a little bit behind in catching up with reading up. I always am. I might as well embrace it by this point, eh? Maestro's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? Now, last I saw, you were 2-1 up in the Champions League final. So I'm hoping that you're still winning. And by the time I get down to the end, that it hasn't gone by the wayside. So sounding great. Fantastic. Now, who else do we have in this evening? We have the wonderful, the glorious, the amazing Knight of Knee. Knee! This isn't the moment for it. It's not the moment for young men, Knee. You are correct, because Monday is for MILFs. Now, I'm not going to provide any further explanation to those that don't know what we're talking about there. Just embrace it. Just remember, always in life, Monday is for MILFs. Beautiful stuff. So, Maestro, I see now it was the 80th minute. You were 2-1 up. Beautiful stuff. Johnson is here. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How are you? So Flexium is a Newcastle fan. Fantastic. You must be over the moon. Are you sober, actually? Or have you been drinking since full-time whistle? Because that would be very, very understandable if you had. So Count 527, unfortunately, appears to be a Liverpool fan. Can't escape the final loss. I'm sorry, my dude. I'm sorry. It's okay. You've won the league. You've won the league. That is something that none of the other 92 teams are going to be doing in England. You'll be fine to console yourself with that. We have a Crodmo in. Crodmo, how you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. We have Echo in as well. Just you and your cat chilling and waiting for the stream. Marvelous. Are you in the Discord? I'm sure someone's already said, but if you're in the Discord, you need to be posting your pets up in the pet chat. It's the best channel, the only channel that matters, to be honest, in that Discord. In fact, Quadmo's even already said the exact same thing. There we go. I can trust you. I know I can trust you. Predator, we'll just glide over that. So you have 3 cats, one of them's chilling with you. Beautiful stuff. We've got a Winkinator. Welcome in, Winky. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. Now, We have mentioned it in moments on this channel in recent times, but I'm going to be taking part in the FM Netherlands Super League. It kicks off this week. Last night we had the draw for the groups and the teams, so I'm going to be in Group 11 with Feyenoord. Every team in the group plays with the same team in the group stage, so it's completely equal. And then in the knockout rounds, the teams will change. We're yet to be 100% certain on what's going there. But Winkinator is going to be one of the potential people that I could meet in the final, because naturally, I'm going to make it all the way to the final and not flame out in the group stage whatsoever. Honest. Right, okay. Flexium wants to keep going with his Newcastle save, just make it more challenging. Well, I mean, Flexium, think of it this way. Newcastle in real life have just topped anything they could have ever expected in their what would be their second season, FM. So everything's realistic, right? Cameron's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How are you feeling after yesterday? What a result. What a result for Rangers. Almost threw it away. And then right at the death. Incredible stuff. Incredible. So Flexium says, yes, I was nervous during the game, but thankfully it ended well. Liverpool is an incredible team. They are annoyingly a very, very good team. So Quachu's in as well. Hello from Poland. Welcome in. Thank you for your superb skin. Reason I started a new save in FM24. That's marvellous to hear. Lovely to have you here. Lovely to have you here. Pet Channel for the win. Knight of Knees knows what it's all about. Knight of Knee absolutely knows what it's all about. Wiki asks, am I happy with Feyenoord in the FMNL Super League? I am very much so. For those that follow over on YouTube, you will know that I did an episode on Feyenoord literally released 5 days ago. So that maybe puts a little bit more pressure because I should know the team, right? I should, but we're not necessarily guaranteed on that front. It's going to be different. Dealing with the squad that we inherit, we can't make any changes to the squad in that regard, and not knowing anything about the players that I'm up against. We've got the glorious Damien, who was in here the other week, who's we're going to be probably doing our last group games against, who's a Feyenoord fan. Well, that should be absolutely fascinating. But seeing what kind of tactics come out, there are a couple that are banned, but they're going to probably be very, very meta adjacent, I think would probably be the best way of putting it. So we've got a completely different challenge in that regards. Feyenoord doesn't have like a big burly striker, which I like. I like my big boys. I like my dribbly boys. In Stengs and Paxao and Minter, we have dribbly boys. We have dribbly boys by the bucket loads. But I need me some big boys. I definitely need me some big boys, which is a great point to move on over and catch everyone up with where we're at with Darmstadt. Now, I have a small little confession to make before I do catch you up with certain things that have happened in terms of moving forward. I do what I normally do during this point of the year in the save, which is I play through the friendlies off stream, and I got a little bit carried away, and I ended up playing a Bundesliga match as well, because I'm an idiot and didn't realize that it was a Bundesliga game. I was just like, yeah, continue, play. Thankfully, it worked out okay, but it does mean that a solitary game has been disgraceful. I know. It's something that I should very much be taken to task with. We have played a game against Kaiserslautern off stream, and we won. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's suspicious, but that's suspicious, right? We play a game off stream and we win. Fixed, I tell you. Absolute disgrace. So Johnny's in, welcome in. Last time you were this early, we were still in Finland, my word. And El Norby's here as well. Hello, how was your weekend, my dude? As is Mean Wolf. Good evening, everyone's in. And Wilco, lovely to see you, my guys. Everyone knows we're a meaningless old firm game team. I mean, Cameron, after the season you've had, anything counts, right? Just something to grasp onto, you know? So account says, to be fair, a good Moneyball rebuild would be you could make Liverpool slightly different to your usual saves, as you have to try to get the best out of the best. For example, Diaz, Nunes, Chimikas will leave. I mean, certainly, as I will always point out, I know there is everyone wants to see their team done. I completely understand that. Generally speaking, I need to find a good narrative reason to pick up a team. So we picked up Feyenoord recently because Arne Slot had left, and really all they needed was a continuation. They brought in Brian Prisk, and it failed. They're down in fourth. They got knocked out of everything. It's kind of not really gone to plan. And so there is the narrative there. Whilst Liverpool are very, very good at the moment, that real narrative element doesn't exist. Similarly, I get a lot of requests for Man United, which I completely understand. Things have been bad for Man United in real life. But in Football Manager, they are so overpowered. They never underperform to that extent. So the challenge aspect just isn't there. So it's with those elements. Thank you very much for the suggestion. I just want to temper expectations. I don't want to lead people on and make them think that there might be a Liverpool one coming up in the near future when there probably isn't going to be one. Medical car's in. Welcome in, my dude. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Now, so when we left off, we went through and we identified some players that we were ready to sell. Players like Andre Brooks. Andre Brooks was solid for us. You know, from slightly above average to good, just fine, but not really picking up to the same heights he'd hit the season before. And that seems crazy to say that when we're talking about a player who scored 4 goals, got 3 assists in 31 games last season, to not hit the same heights. But he was a bit off that this season, just not quite hitting the same beats. And his value was quite high, so we've managed to sell him for 16.75 million euros to Crystal Palace, which, you know, that's going to free up some funds for us, allow us to bring through some new players. And with that, we identified 2 potential players to replace him. One of them was David Fratesi, who is currently playing out in Saudi Arabia. Unsurprisingly, his wage demands were too high. So instead, we've brought in Alexander Pavlovic. Alexander Pavlovic comes in for 3 million from St. Pauli. That does mean that he was playing a division below Zweite Bundesliga, but he was doing really, really well in terms of progressive passes, possession won, and tackle win rate. So doing quite well in terms of holding things together in a defensive capacity, but also doing quite well in terms of expected assists. He's got 4 assists to his name, but he should have had about 6 or so, which in half a season is fantastic. So he's arrived for 3 million euros. He's going to come, well, he would come straight into the starting lineup, but he was actually injured as we picked him up. So he picked up a gashed head in the week that we signed him. So literally like 2 days before the deal went through. But in total, that's a 14 million. We've replaced Brooks. We've made 14 million pounds. We've also sold Ellis Sims. Now, Ellis Sims was a player that we picked up on the cheap, very, very much on the cheap in our very, very first season. We got him for 350k. He scored a decent amount of goals for us. That's 21 goals in 45, 61, 72 games, playing largely as a backup player. So he wasn't ever a starter. But this season, he's really struggled to win his headers. He's not really contributing off the bench. So we managed to sell him back down to the Zweite Bundesliga for 2.5 million euros. It's not massive amounts of profit. But ultimately, we're looking to just move on somebody who's kind of surplus to requirements. So, yeah, he's gone to Heidenheim, and we have bought in Finn Dworshak. Now, Finn Dworshak, we had a list of quite a few strikers. We had there was Peter Musa, the Croatian, the big man. There was a guy called Douglas at Bragantino, but he was wanted by Everton. Finn Dworshak was a player recommended by our scouts. We had a scout search set up for big boys, specifically big boys, and he was the only recommendation. There is one currently in progress. So Finn Dworshak has currently spent most of his career playing non-league football. So for Eintracht Frankfurt reserves, he's done very well this season. He spent some time on loan at Braunschweig, scored 8 goals in 26 games, which at his age then, that is 2 seasons ago, so he would have been 19 at the time. Not too bad. But most of the rest of this has all been for the reserve team at Frankfurt. So we could have signed him for 3.5 million euros. We haven't. We've signed him on loan with a optional fee of 3.9 million euros, which might sound a bit dumb. And it probably is. Realistically, we're treating this as a test to buy. You know, we feel like he should be a good player. He tries killer balls often, which for our deep lying forward should be quite good, feeding our advance forward quite nicely. but he's not necessarily got the same level of physicality that we're used to with our big boys. We normally want someone with elite jumping or strength, preferably better than average bravery. So we'll see how it goes. He's young, gets a chance to earn a place in the squad, potentially. So he's in on loan. I think the loan costs us something like $500,000. So the loan's going to cost us $500,000. There's an optional fee of 3.9 million. So if he does become permanent, we will have spent $1 million more than we needed to. But if we can find a starter at this level for 4.5 million euros, I'm quite happy to spend 4.5 million euros. So yeah, should all be fine. Should all be fine in theory, right? Let's have a look here. We've got Echo asks, do you have any idea which league you want your next team to be? I know you don't have any restrictions, but just asking. So we will talk about that indeed. So what happened, crab lungs especially for you here, is we had a little bit of a meltdown last Wednesday. Things weren't going well. There were people chiming up in the chat that wanting us to play the meta. And so we played the meta. We won a game and I felt dirty and stopped. So I think we need to incorporate that into the narrative of this save properly. And what I mean by that is that we want to consider that actually, when it gets to a point and a manager cracks, that's usually a sign of things going downhill. So just to be a note, we're not going to have Pavlovic on the bench. He's still coming back from his injury. So we're not going to try and ignore that it happened. We'll probably call this is the point where that relationship between the manager and the fans is starting to deteriorate. And so we're going to start accepting job offers. If we start getting interviews at clubs that seem to be quite interesting to us, we'll accept them and we'll go for them. At the end of the season, if we haven't been picked up by another team, we will probably step down from Darmstadt. It's been 4 seasons in charge. We've taken them from relegation zone in the Zweites Bundesliga into Europe in a very, very short period of time. I think it kind of makes sense to acknowledge that tension that occurred, but also use that as a platform for moving on to the next step. So in answer to your question, Mr. Echo, do you have any idea which leagues you want your next team to be? I mean, I'd be quite content staying in the Bundesliga. I think that we are going to be looking for something that is at the very least a sideways move, but ideally upwards. So we would potentially consider the Netherlands being geographically close, kind of makes some sense to me. We're Finnish, we're Mika Aratalo, so we might want to consider the climate to be something more like what we're used to, right? We've got, so Netherlands I think would be fine. I think UK would be absolutely fine. I think that maybe if it's Spain, we'd want to... Oh, here's De Niro in behind. De Niro. Oh, yeah. You plonker. You plonk. Oh, God, it's Augsburg. I absolutely hate playing against Augsburg. Here comes Engels. Into Kone. To Rexbrigage. Tries to play it forwards. Wimmer steps in. Good lad. Feeds Abdullahi. Abdullahi. Too late to play it through. Ooh, he pokes it. It's a good save from Schmidt. So there aren't any necessary restrictions. I think it would be like North Italy seems fine, but I feel like Aratalo wouldn't be going down to Portugal potentially. I mean, I think Spain, it would have to be the right team like tactically speaking for us to consider. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. Dill's in. Welcome in, Dill. How are you, my dude? Lovely to see you. As is Captain Zeep. Now, apologies for putting you on the spot, but I know I popped it in chat. I'm going to say it out loud as well. A massive congratulations is due Zeep's way. What a wonderful weekend you've had. I won't say any more. I'll leave that to you to say if you want to. But I put you in the awkward position of me now mentioning it. Sorry. So Cockus Melch is here as well. Welcome in, Cockus Melch. And it's Linson. And you know what that means. You know what that means.
White badge, blue shirt, white socks, blue shorts, blonde hair, white star, bled blue, lily white. Talk Linson, saw the Darmstadt goal tonight. At the Merck Stadion and Bollenfaltor, where the goals are their delight.
Everyone loves an obscure Ian Jury track, right? Rich is in as well. Welcome in. Lovely to see. Hope we're all very good. Might be a bit quiet. Brother in Malawi's very, very poorly. I'm sorry to hear that, my dude. I hope everything is okay. Cocky's Mouse has got a very nice suggestion for Simone Connect. That's marvellous to hear. I would suggest if you pop it in a whisper to me, that will be cool. I'll definitely be keen to hear your suggestions. Incidentally as well, Out Farby, thank you for redeeming the mystery minigame. What we'll do is we'll play that in a few moments. Now, I expect that there's an ad break that's going to pop up at some point, probably just after this game. I won't be going on that break. That'll just be one that happens naturally. But once we've come back and everyone is present after that, we will go into the minigame, if that's cool with you. Kwan, welcome in, Kwan. How's your weekend, sir? Nightcrawler as well. Lovely to see you all. As Abdullah rises, looking to make it 2-0 before the break. Just over, I'm afraid. Yeah, lovely to see you, Nightcrawler. So account says it wants Liverpool because it will be a big rebuild. Like, even though we will win the league, there will be big turnover. It's, as I say, I've explained my position for it. I'm not going to give you false hope on something that probably isn't likely to be there. So Night of Knee asks, what about requests for Sporting? I'm biased though. Now, Sporting, as you know, are a club that have been up for vote for a Moneyball clinic twice now. Both times I think they came last. So Sporting are an interesting one because they're a team who always underperform, I've noticed in FM. I think during the 10 tests that we did for collating all the information, they didn't win the league once, which was quite shocking. But it's probably going to be one of those where we need to move until after Amarin's gone, and perhaps bring it a little bit forwards in that respect. Right, so at half time, do we need to make any changes? I don't think we do. I think we can be pretty content with things there. I probably shouldn't have been as positive at half time though. So we'll see how things go. Iron's in. Welcome in, Iron. Lovely to see you. I'm very well. How are you? Meanwhile, have we expanded the stadium since you're at Darmstadt? I don't believe so. Or if we have, I haven't paid much attention. Right, Wimmer with the free kick. Can we get something going? Abdullah with an early shot. Schmidt turns around the post once again. Isn't Finn a bit too tall to be a dwarf, Shaq? I see what you did there. Beautiful stuff. The Dutch FM is here. Good evening, Dutch FM. How are you doing? Fabulous work last night on the organisation. Incidentally, I do apologise. We need to get some shout-outs going. I do apologise. As Wilhelmsen looks to equalise. Now, Quadmo, I'm going to give you a list, I'm afraid. Can you shout? You'll have to be like one after. You'll have to wait because there's a timeout on it. But can you give a shout out to Dill 40k, to the Dutch FM, to Iron, as well as who? I'm sure I've missed someone else out as well. I feel bad. If I've missed anyone out, I've missed you out. I'm sorry. But please do if you can. That'd be absolutely amazing. So Nürnberger with the cross. Can we get a second? I would really like a second goal. And Asnu has a chance to do something here. Shot saved. Vim on the rebound. Vimmer. It's a great save from Max Schmidt, though. Come on. So, yeah, as you guys can see, I'm a long way behind on chat already. The Bill likes a nice deal like that. Exactly. A nice rental. The thing is, like, normally I'm quite averse to loans because you have to pay such a big fee for the loan itself. That if you're not confident you're going to be signing the player, that it sometimes seems like maybe a waste of money. But that one seems to be, Dvorak seems like a good deal all round for us. Right, so time to make our changes, and De Niro has been kind of quiet, so we're going to bring on, no we're not, let's bring on Dvorak for his debut. So this is why we wanted a legitimate big man, well, he's big, he's not necessarily strong, because we can play Abdullah in that more aggressive position as well. So let's give him his debut. He signed literally this morning in game. So just 20 minutes. Can we hold on? Augsburg have a tendency to break our hearts, but we look like we've won a penalty. Dvorak's first contribution is to fall over. That's what we like. A man who falls over professionally. It's a penalty. And a penalty means Christian Knockvielinson saved. Bollocks. So there we go. So the Dutch FM says, massive shout out about the work for the FMNL Super League save. You shouldn't have to do it, but looks great. Ultimately, I think it makes sense to, add a little bit of FMNL to a skin. So for those that don't know, my Patreons do have access to a new skin specifically for versus mode only, as well as all the competitors in the FMNL Super League. And Abdullah Heads, how did he miss that? So it's going to be it's just the base skin with a couple of tweaks. We've added in the logo and the background. We've incorporated I say we, it's just me. A BBC style lineup graphic, as well as Rorschach on his debut. Get in. Boom. Pazarak's down injured. Who cares about that? Rorschach steps in, makes his debut. He's been on the pitch barely 10 minutes, if even that. It's Hove who feeds him. He looks tight. There's no VAR check. But that looked tight. I'll be honest. That looked very, very tight. Horrible from Henriks. He's off. He's offside. Incredible stuff. Why was there no VAR? I suppose I'm not complaining. Right, so Nürnberger's going to come off. We're going to bring on Garcia McNulty. He's back from injury. We're going to bring on Schifferl back from injury as well. We're going to slot Wimmer out onto the right. And then our last change there is Jelicic. And that leaves us with one substitute remaining. Just as we look to see out the game, maybe sort of around the 88th minute or so. We're still scoring underneath our XG. Granted, there is a missed penalty in there. So here comes Stenbring. And hopefully things can be good. So Jim says over on YouTube, welcome in, Jim. You have a nice week. You have a challenge. When during a game you want to alter your team, do not pause. Just reduce speed time and make them under the stress of time. Haha. So Jim, that's how I normally play. For those that were along during the AC Moneyball series in Italy, one of the things I've learned is whilst you're streaming, it is quite often that I'm not paying full attention to the game. And so if I don't pause whilst I make the substitutions, there's a very good chance that the entirety of the game happens whilst I'm in that screen, which is why we look to pause. Naturally, when I'm not streaming, it's a slightly different approach. That's a good result. That's a good way to start the stream.
Wait for SV Darmstadt, slam the goal in motion. You can feel it every week. Muster Dogs rejoices, free your mind and join us. Gonna win the fucking league.
We're gonna win the fucking league. I mean, we're not. We're in 8th, but that does take us above Stuttgart, who have a game in hand. We're within 3 points of the European places. Within 2 points of Eintracht Frankfurt, who aren't just our local rivals, but 7th is where we finished last season as well. So that's a good sign. I expect this season to be worse than last one because we're competing on multiple fronts. But the fact that we're back within kind of the right zone is encouraging. So our next game is home against Holstein Kiel. That should be an easy game. Holstein Kiel were the team we played in the first week of the season, where we lost 1-0. And arguably, I think that was quite a fair result. I think it was very, very even on XG. We were very flat. We struggled to play through the lines. Indeed, there we go. 1.18, plays 1.04. They got the win. It was a very, very even game. And very, very indicative of our problems, not necessarily being particularly good at scoring goals. But that problem solved. We've got Dvorak now. Finally going to be the piece in the puzzle that we were missing. Marion, welcome in, my dude. Says Netherlands could be very fun. It could indeed. Now, I think that if we're going from a team that just qualified to Europe in Darmstadt, even though on a reputational basis, Darmstadt, aren't the biggest team in Germany. They're not a traditionally good team. But I think if we'd want to be looking to move to the Eredivisie, which in terms of like the coefficients and various like rankings in that regard tends to be considered a slightly weaker league. Like Bundesliga is one of the top 5. Eredivisie and Liga Portugal are kind of 6th and 7th. So if we're going to make that move across, we'd probably want to be looking at a big team. So that would be your Ajaxes, your Feyenoords, your PSVs. Probably I'd consider like your AZs. We'll see what the leagues are like over there as well. Because I don't know how teams like Utrecht have been getting on. Go Ahead Eagles seem to be quite good. We signed a couple of players from Go Ahead Eagles over time. So, right, Arne Michaels is being bid on by Leicester as an assistant manager. We'd get €500,000 for him. He's 63. We can let him go. We can let our people go. We recently hired Taras Stepanenko as an assistant manager. Whereas Arnold Michaels was here before we joined. So we don't necessarily have that strong bond with him to want to keep him there. Right, Hlinson's going to be out. That's all right. We have been trying to sell Anton Guy and Nathan Skitter. We still haven't been able to get any bids for them yet. So we will be trying that during the course of this stream as well. I'm saying this out loud because that reminds me. Pietro Rolando. We now have scouting on Pietro Rolando, the man who broke my heart. He's good at heading. We know that. His goal that ended our undefeated season was a header at the far post from a corner. He scored 11 goals in 17 games. He's now 22 years old. Generally speaking, he can't pass. Doesn't work particularly hard, doesn't have great work rate, doesn't move into channels. Aren't necessarily things that leave me feeling encouraged. He does win 49% of his headers, which is good. Does score above his XG. Doesn't really do much else. So he did play a little bit at Monza, a little bit at Ilves. I think that with Dworshak we are absolutely fine in that regard. So Johnson says, sorry, it skipped past a little bit there. If you do Spain, consider going geographically close to Fuengirola. Lots of Finns there. Whereabouts is Fuengirola in Spain? That'll be something I will have to look up, just to be kind of aware of what teams that might possibly be. Is that down? Oh, that's right at the south. So we're kind of like Malaga way. Malaga, Gibraltar way, Almeria, Seville. Seville could certainly be interesting. That's a little bit further away, but that's so. Is there like a particular reason for that area to attract Finns, or is there like a historic connection, or is it just it's a nice holiday destination? Right, Miller's injured, Schmidt's ill. We are losing players as quickly as we have gained them. Pavlovic should be ready to reach the bench. Schafel and McNulty are only just back. So we've got 3 days. Schmidt's out for a week though, isn't it? He might be back in time. Schmidt might be back in time. Let's hope he is. So yes, that's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to try and get these guys out. We're still not having much joy. We've asked an intermediary. An intermediary said probably not got anybody interested in him. So let's say to teams, you don't have to pay us at all this season. But because I'm saying that, you need to pay me a little bit more overall. And the same with Guy. We'll ask about interest again. Still not enough money. So let's say £3.6 million. You pay us 600,000 extra, just 200,000 extra a year, for the kindness of us letting you not pay anything up front. So sorry, I am so far behind. Oh my word, I do apologise. Real Sociedad would be a nice team, or Valencia if Lim is gone, suggests Mr. Echo. I think with Spain, because we've got this Unai Emery-esque approach to our out of possession structure, I think it would be quite nice maybe to consider Villarreal as well. A couple of the teams that way. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Spain is... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We have no centre-backs for this game coming up against Holston Kiel. Who needs centre-backs anyway? Who needs centre-backs? Captain Z, thanks again for the well wishes. No worries at all. What an awesome bit of news. Flexium says, bumping the MLS question. You'll have to repeat the MLS question, I'm afraid, Flexium. I've definitely 100% missed it. As you can see, we've got a lot of comments, and I am a little bit behind. I'm a long way behind. Right, so the player formerly known as Papastathopoulos is going to be out of contract at the end of the season. He's not going to be part of our first team for the last 6 months, so I'm quite happy to sell him for nothing. We're going to lose him for nothing anyway. At least that way we get the 500 euros a week off his the wage bill. You know, it makes all the difference when we're paying players 30 or 40 grand. It's really important for us to shave that 500 euros a week off. Right, Schmidt is back in time. Mikkels will be leaving us. Some coaching stuff is going on behind the players. No interest in those players, so I think we're going to be sticking with Guy and Skitter for the rest of the season. That's how it goes, though. Supreme Quan says Sevilla, they're in a financial crisis. I mean, we're now in 2031, Quan, so who knows? Who knows what the lie of the land is going to be like. DM Basis, welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How are you feeling after yesterday's result? You must be quite happy. So Johnson's just been beaten by your old assistant manager. Oh, that is tough to take. That is tough to take. Right. Kalkus Mouch has whispered the idea on Discord. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I will check that in a few moments. Now, we are about to come off a break, so we will play that mystery mini game that Outfarby redeemed a little while back. I do apologise that we are a little bit behind.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me. How do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Why, Cameron, what a gentleman you are. Oh, what a gentleman you are. With your Prime as well. You only get one of those. I really appreciate it you using here. Thank you very kindly. What a gentleman. So the Dutch FM says, for real, we were so freaking tired at the end of the night. I can imagine. You got in a call together, had some last chats, and we couldn't focus anymore, so went to bed. Being busy all day averting crises. I can imagine. I can imagine. The having to create squads in versus mode thing as well must be frustrating. Must be frustrating. Right, okay. That break has ended. So let's head on in to a little bit of a mini game here. And what I will say is I am now probably so far behind on chat that if I have missed your comments, please do feel free to ask them again, because I'm probably not going to be able to go back and catch up on what I've missed so far once we've played through. So for those that aren't familiar with Guess the Player, it's a really simple game. You're going to see 4 players from a player's profile in Football Manager 24, one after the other. You're going to see the positions that they play. You're going to see their attributes and traits. You're going to see their scout report. Then you're going to see their career history. Your job is to guess who that player is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. The more points you get, the higher up on this lovely little leaderboard you see. Now, currently we've just got the all-time leaderboard running beneath us, but we do run a weekly one. Today is the start of a new week, so everyone's on 0 at the moment. So even if you can't find yourself top of the leaderboard, the all-time leaderboard after today, there is still something worth playing for. So let's head on. I almost forgot. This is the base game of Football Manager 24, so the 24.3 update. It is the beginning of the game. So players like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, start the game at Bologna. During this, he will be a Bologna player. He won't have moved to Man United. Just in case you're unaware. So let's head on into the first one. And Xerxes, we had guesses coming in for Xerxes, Raskin, David Luiz, Valderrama, the hair Quan, that was Valderrama indeed. That image that you saw at the start there, that is just a placeholder. Because if you were allowed to guess before we even had finished explaining the rules, that would be very, very unfair on people. So sadly, it's not Mejbri. I like Zerachil though, going for Jan Collar. He subverted your expectations. So now we have some information finally to hand, and this is a player that can do absolutely everything. So could it be Enzo Leopold? Could it be John Lundstrom or Nicholas Alexanderson? Could it be Manuel Ugarte or either Miliro Bogard or Lamar Bogard? Could it be Joe Bellingham or Vitinha or Valverde? Lundstrom is a call, says Dutch FM. Dujon Sterling, Goretzka. Now I can tell you, is right off the top, we do have a good call. I can say with great confidence we have a fantastic call. Now the question is whether the Dutch FM was right in saying that Lundstrom was the good call. Cocky Smash was the man that came in with Lundstrom. I can tell you that it is not John Lundstrom. It is a player with great stamina, great determination, work rate and teamwork. Star player at Bundesliga level at Bayern Munich. It is indeed Tyke 1900 Goretzka. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. A massive 5 points from the first game of the week. That is sensational work. Now, Goretzka, me G23 mentioned Goretzka a little below, Dutch FM, Medical Car, all worked it out before the final reveal. But it is Tyke who got in there first, and the applause coming in from Kokusmosh, the applause coming in from Zerachul, the double applause coming in from El Norby 23 are 100% deserved. What phenomenal work, Tyke. Fantastic. Right now, you are top of this week's leaderboard. Good stuff. So let's head on back. So I do see that somebody says topical to Friday, the Goretzka result. Maybe.
It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Brazilian Fury, you absolute gentleman. Thank you very much. Another using your prime. You are an absolute star. Absolute gentleman. Thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. So we are right up to the next game. The next game, Wimmer has recovered from his injury in time. Schmidt has recovered from his injury in time. Neither of them are fully match sharp, but we've literally had just one game back from Schiffer and McNulty. They're definitely not fit to start. I think we basically just go with the same team, apart from Jelicic, who's come in for the injured Linson. Dvorak will continue to introduce him gradually. We don't need to rush him into that starting lineup, but it's nice to know that we've got someone who can score, albeit from offside, goals at this level. All right, hopefully, things can go right. Crabmo still thinks it was Nicholas Alexanderson. You can keep on thinking that. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from thinking it, which is nice. Sherbs describes as the motherfucker who always scores against me. Yes, no comment. How could Crabmo not permit motherfucker on MILF night? Exactly. Mondays are for MILFs. You can't be restricting MILF activity on MILF night, can you now? Now Zeep, I did miss some very, very good guesses there. Zeep went for Ray Houghton. Everyone loves Ray Houghton. Well, I love Ray Houghton. We will say we have to win our home games. I expect nothing but a win. And then the standard rounds of I have faith. I do need to check what they're playing. They're playing a 4-3-3, so I don't want to put Nürnberger on anything particularly special in that regards. So here we go. Can we get revenge against Holston Kiel? They're not a great team, but we tend to struggle against not great teams, to be fair. So this is kind of our kryptonite. Does also mean that there are a lot of teams that are our kryptonite. So Tyke says, as a Bayern fan, my happiness has doubled. Perfect. So playing with my heartstrings. I'm sorry, Kalkusmelsh. I am very, very sorry. So evening, G&G's in. Welcome in, G&G. How are you doing, sir? Happy Monday. How was your weekend, my dude? How was your weekend? We also have Live to Prof in. Good evening. How was your weekend? Lovely to see you. G&G, a man of fine taste. A man of fine taste indeed. Also loves a little bit of Ray Houghton. Ray Houghton, a former consultant, I believe, for Football Managers. We send it in to Abdullah. Abdullah headed over the bar. That's a good chance. There's a good chance. I do feel, apparently, oh no, he's won his headers, he hasn't won his tackles. That's all right. So in these early phases, they haven't had much of a chance at all. We've had a couple of little bits here and there as Wiener grabs hold. Wiener grabs hold. He sends it long. It's long from Wiener. Ho feeds De Niro. Abdullah's in behind. Abdullah. Oh, yes.
Jalal Abdullah, Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah, Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah.
Boom. Boom. There we go. First shot on target is a goal. It had been coming. We have been, generally speaking, the more dominant in this game, which is what we should expect, given our relative positions in the table. Nürnberg with a free kick, sends it in towards Schmidt. Schmidt rises, heads it wide. It's never really going to cause Wiener any trouble there. Another free kick, closer in from Hove. Hove, well denied by Wiener. What you might call a cock block. Right, Pazarak is going to swing in the corner. Wim is the target, beaten into it by Sander. Guy gets it back. Pazarak is in space. Pazarak can't get his cross though. It's a great recovery block. Goat to lie. It is indeed Goat to lie. Pazarak sends it in. Wimmer, it's over the top. Henning gets it clear. So from a position standpoint, we've got most of their players hemmed back inside their own half. We can see kind of Hove is doing a decent job getting forwards, as now is the more attacking of the left of the fullbacks, which is what we expect. So, yeah, reasonably happy with that. I say reasonably happy, but I'm going to tell them I'm not, because we're only 1-0 up. So Asnu's on a yellow card. We don't have Muller available because of his booking. Of his injury. So we'll stick with Asnu on, ease off tackles for a little bit, and then we'll probably look to bring McNulty on and switch and mirror the tactic for a little bit. So probably we'll call it like 10 minutes or so. We also have Pazarek's apparently struggling. I think he's been kind of okay, but we might need to make some changes there. So Sherbs, you've got this one prospect in your save at the moment who only seems to be able to score from offside. I mean, the trick is to bribe the refs. That's how we got away with it for Dvorshak, was some reason he was offside, granted marginally, but it stood. So he can continue being offside if he gets away with it, as far as I'm concerned. Pazarek feeds Abdullah. Abdullah tries to find De Niro. De Niro's got there. Oh, how did he miss that? How did De Niro miss that? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Right, Nürnberger tries to find Asnu. Passes a little bit weak, but it's okay. We gather it back again. Abdullah to Pazarek out wide. Feeds it back. Abdullah's in behind. Abdullah.
Jalal Abdullah, Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah, Abdullah, Jalal Abdullah.
Boom. There we go. This is all because Adam's in. By the way, welcome in, Adam. I don't think I've said hello. How are you, my dude? He knows you're here, and that's why he's scoring. Right, so time to now make our changes. 10 minutes into the second half, 2-0 up. Garcia McNulty's going to come on in that position. Jelicic swings out over there. Guy or Pazarek? Guy or Pazarek? Guy or Pazarek? Let's go with Pazarek is our player that we're keeping around. So to play in that left-hand midfield spot is going to be Nürnberger, which means that Pavlovic comes on for his debut. Pavlovich comes on for his debut. Abdullahi and De Niro. There we go. There we go. That's a Jim Papas. It's going to be a nice streak. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Exactly, Alnorby. Crubmo, I don't think they're going for the knob gags. I mean, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't go for it either. They are bad knob gags, but we're going to keep on going with them. So Coxmo says you should tell Wiener to dry his eye after this thrashing. I mean, indeed. You don't want a wet eye? That's not a thing to say. That's not a thing that's ever been said. Nürnberger with the corner. A second time of asking feeds Jelicic. Plays it back to Wimmer. Now Jelicic has some space. Doesn't have some space. He just shoots straight at the defender. And that's why we're probably going to have to cash in on him in the summer. He's not really stepped up to the plate for us this season. Certainly not like Hlinson has. I think Hlinson's up to 10 goals now, though most of them have been from the penalty spot. Right, Abdullah is on a hat-trick, but he is very tired, and I've got to protect my players in that respect. I'm actually going to bring Nürnberger off. I'm going to swap these guys around that way. Something like that. Let's go with that for the last 15 minutes or so. And then we'll look to bring on Schifferl again, just to get him a little bit of fitness. It's a great save from Halen. Let's say some nice words to him. He's a goalkeeper. He doesn't get much attention. A Vargas with the corner. It's going to be an outswinger, and Schmidt is going to get there. Dvorak puts Herring under enough pressure. Puts Herring under enough effort. Playing in red as well. He's a bit of a red herring. Vargas sends it to the far post. Wimmer gets there. It's collected by Freeze. Freeze feeds it across. Masovic gathers. Finds Mergner. Nijmar. Justin. Neymar. Gotta be offside, surely. Gotta be offside, surely. It is offside. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Yeah, I told you. Absolutely fine. No doubts whatsoever. Right, there is going to be, however, a highlight immediately thereafter. If this is another Kiel, ends up being another Kiel highlight, then we probably need to make some changes. Pazarek loses out in the advanced positions. There's good defending there. Masovic back to Wiener. Wiener finds Holterlund. Holterlund carries the ball forwards. Finds Kornsbruch. Kornsbruch picked up by Shiitake. Well in. Hyland sends it long. Jelicic is the target. He doesn't challenge for it. And here's Nynmar. Nynmar down the right. Nynmar going all alone. Sends the cross into the far post. Herstich rises. Cool, so that last change is going to be... Neymar was coming down the right there. That's fine. It's going to be Schmidt coming off. We've got a Wimmer, Schifferl. There. We're going to drop the tempo. We're going to increase the time wasting, and let's just see if we can see the game out for the remainder. So G&G says it's a good weekend, thanks. Long one as it's Paddy's Day today. It's Paddy's Day, isn't it? It's the 17th. Oh, yes. Ah, yes. Any, what kind of state are you in currently, G&G, then? I think would probably be a fair question to ask. Shiitake looks to take it on himself. It wasn't bad effort. Probably should have been hitting the target from there. So, Quadmo, who else are you shouting out? I can't even see who you shouted out. Let's see. You've done a fabulous job, Quadmo. I see a shout out for G&G. I see a shout out for Adam. I see a shout out for Dill. Did you manage to catch the Dutch FM? The Dutch FM most definitely needs a shout out. I can't see one for the glorious Dutch FM, and for Arjen Wyden, if you could as well, please. You gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, cool. There we go. A pretty comfortable win in the end. Jalal Abdullahi up to 15 goals, I think, for the season. So he's on 15. De Niro's on 19. We're doing reasonably well. We jump up to 7th. Again, we've played a little bit earlier than everyone else, so we can't claim we're actually properly in 7th yet. But we are, generally speaking, moving in the right direction. All we've got now is a game coming up against... I do hate how it does that. Dortmund. We have played a home game against Dortmund before. We played the phenomenal home game against Dortmund where we lost 6-0. And I'm still scarred to this very day by that game. We also lost to them earlier this season, 3-0, with a man sent off. We did get a draw against them once. Once upon a time we got a draw against them. But otherwise they have not been opponents that we particularly like to face. Now, they are currently managed by Seb Hernus. 4-2-3-1, attacking, gegenpressing. It's not Marco Röser anymore. So that at least is something, even if it is a team we are going to struggle against. So we've done the resting. That bit's all cool. Let's carry on a little bit, see if we can get things going up that way. So Cameron, yes, you should also shout out Nico Raskin if you can. Good work, ref, indeed. Jim says, turn the wide midfielder to defensive wingers on support. Thank you very much for the suggestion to Jim. Now, in the description, very, very clearly, just to be clear, no backseating. I will ask if I want some tactical advice, my dude. Indeed, Ian is a great lad. Ian most definitely is a great lad. So, I don't know if I did see him in here a little bit earlier. But let me see if I can do the honours for that one, because I'm not 100% certain I've spelt it right. And if I say it out loud to spell it, I might be wrong. There we go. There we go. Yeah, expecting you to know who to shout out there, Crobmo, would have been very, very unfair. Thank you very much for your wonderful, wonderful work. Right, so Goat to Live for Golden Boot. Well, De Niro is ahead of him, El Norby. De Niro's got 18 goals. I think maybe only 10 of them are in the 10 of them in the Bundesliga. Those are the words we're going with Bundesliga. He's our lead scorer both in the Bundesliga and all competitions, but both of them have been cracking. Goat to Lie came in for 15 million this summer. De Niro was just 3 million, which is astonishing. So Mr. Echo, you redeemed player lookup. Maybe you missed it. Can you see how Budu Zivzivadze is getting on? I can indeed. I most definitely can. And indeed it is there. Budu. Budu Ziv should be enough, right? I have a feeling that Budu is not in this save. So which team does Budu start with in the game, Mr. Echo? We set up with a relatively select few countries, so there's a good chance that he's not necessarily in one of those countries. As the player formerly known as was it Papadopoulos or Papadopoulos? It's Papadopoulos. The player formerly known as Papadopoulos has been sold on a free transfer. Goodbye. Stay hydrated indeed. I'm out of drink. I need to wait 15 minutes until the next break to fill up. No, I don't. Let me mute the microphone. Cool. I can hydrate now. Thank you. So I do have my lovely little box of fizz here. It's the main reason I end up drinking fizz on stream is because I can just have the crate next to my legs, whereas I don't have a sink to fill up the squash as and when I need to. Right, so El Norby, proper Videoton Ushpest. Okay, I'm not familiar with them. So we didn't have Hungary loaded to begin the game with. So I guess that's why he's not in there. But if there is another player that you'd like us to look up, do give us a shout. Dean Basis is just back from a long phone call and heard someone mentioned God. What's up with Raskin? We were just talking about what a wonderful player he was. Generally all that was. Cromwell, I was just about to do that. No worries, man. I was just like, I realised that if I was going to try and, I think I knew how to spell his name, but I didn't want to just spell it out. Then I was there. I could do it at the time, right? So that's essentially what I'm saying. Right, now the Dutch FM has redeemed a minigame. So shall we go on over and play a little bit of a mini game then? And game number 2, I reckon, should be a little bit of bingo. How do we feel about a little bit of bingo? So for those of you that haven't played before, this works kind of straightforward. I'm going to paste this code into the chat, both over on Twitch and YouTube. Every single player gets a unique bingo card. That bingo card will contain different criteria. Maybe it will be a club like AC Milan or Brighton. Maybe it will be a league like the Bundesliga or the Eredivisie or the Premier League. There may be managers or stats like top goal scorer in a competition or won a Europa League. All of us will then receive a list of players, one after the other. So I think there's 40 or 60 players in total. Our job is to place them in one of those squares. Now, the players might not match any of the squares. The players might match multiple squares. You can only put them in one. If you select a square, that is then locked in for the remainder of the game. You can't undo it. You can't put someone else on that square. If they don't match anything, though, you can skip. The goal is to match up all 16 squares and get bingo. And the way this works from a point perspective is that once we have all the results in, it works out how many squares you got right correctly, and then sorts by time afterwards. The person who comes in first will get 5 points. In second, fourth, third, second and first, 2 points and 1 point after that. If I finish in the top 5, I just ignore myself. So if I finish third, the person in 6th will be considered as in 5th, and so forth. So we've got that lovely little code, which is in chat there, back a little bit if you want to join us. Now, because I'll be playing and it's on screen, I will deliberately be going very, very slowly, so you don't get to see who the players are before they arrive in your own game. Because I mean like that. I'm very much mean like that. Oh, cool. Crudmo's done over on Twitch, so I don't need to pop it over on YouTube as well again. Fabulous, thank you very much. Now what we'll do is to give people time to sign up and head on over. So if you don't want to click that link for whatever reason, you can go to playfootball.games, go to bingo, online game, and enter that code that you see appearing on screen. We will give it about another 1 minute and 20 seconds before we start to give people a chance to join in. So don't worry, you don't need to rush too much. You should always click from Crudmo. You should indeed, absolutely. So Johnson says Zivzivadza should start either on Karlsruhe or Heidenheim, depending on your database. Must have retired at this point. Okay, fair enough. So I assume, Johnson, that he's a little bit older then. And Mr. Echo, we will go back then and check Giorgio Mamadashvili after the game, if that's cool. Remind me though. Just remind me, yeah. The Dutch FM, by the way, no worries. Go say hi to Danny. Thank you very much for dropping by, my dude. So we've got some enthusiasm about bingo. Some of that enthusiasm extends to it not being Only Connect. Don't worry, we've got an Only Connect for later. No, it's much easier. Much easier than Fridays, that's for sure. So cool. We are down to the last 10 seconds or so. Well, I say last 10 seconds. I click the start button and then there'll be another like 12-second countdown, but it'll be just a few more moments before anyone else can join in. We've got a sensational pool of 17 players. So let's do this. Game starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, so our first one up is the Zero Duro. Your bingo card will look slightly different to this, but you're going to get the same list of players. I'm just going to let the timer run on the first couple, just so that we don't end up ahead of you guys, essentially. So Alex Merritt can go as well. And now we've got Gianluca Scamacca. Does he match any of these criteria? I don't believe he does for me, so that's okay. We can skip or let it run. George Best. Now, I don't actually know enough about George Best in terms of like actual achievements, so I'm going to let that one run. As I am also with Radu Dragasin. I know he played in Italy. but I don't think he's played for matched any of those other ones. Pedro Neto. I feel like we'll play it on Chelsea rather than Portugal. Sergio Busquets. Sergio Busquets most definitely has been managed by Guardiola. He's also won the World Cup, so we'll go with that. Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, has he won the English Top Division Golden Boot? I feel like he might have done. No, I'm not going to go with that. Oriol Romeo. This is why I wanted to use Sergio Busquets on World Cup. Let's pop him in under Pep. Eduardo Camavinga. Eduardo Camavinga. Interesting. I feel like I should know where he belongs in that. Sekou Fofana. I don't know. Fabian Barthez. I don't know of him playing for Lille. So I'm going to pass that. He would have been for the World Cup. Would have been quite good. Martin Terrier. Martin Terrier's played for like every team in France, right? I know he's been at Lyon, but I'm going to assert that he's been at Lille at some point. Pedro Gonçalves. There we go. Amadou Onana. Not to be confused with Andre Onana. So is he going to be an Everton or a Villa player? I know Villa players better than Everton players, so I'll use him in there. Enrico Chiesa. Enrico Chiesa. I'm skipping. Davy Klaassen. Can go for Netherlands at Inter Milan. Marquinhos. Did Marquinhos play with Beckham at Paris Saint-Germain? I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. Sead Kolasinac. Sead Kolasinac, most of his career outside of Arsenal was at Germany, I think. So I won't play the Eredivisie one. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Could he have ever played with Beckham? I doubt that. Jerzy Dudek. Jerzy Dudek. I feel like he's played in the Eredivisie, but I don't know well enough. John Carew, Aston Villa, absolutely. Adrian Mutu. Doesn't match any of those as far as I know. Gavi, we can pass on that one as well. Aaron Ramsdale. We'll give that a pass. Christophe Dugarry. We're going to keep on passing now. We've got 33 players left, so that's fine. Dumfries is definitely playing in the Dutch top division. Danny Parejo. Going to skip there. Diego Simeone. Did Simeone ever win the Copa America? Possibly. Wayne Bridge and Beckham in the same England team? We'll risk that. John Obi Miguel, Nigerian. Nwankwo Kanu, we're going to pass there. Roy Mackay. A pass on that one as well. Michael Reisiger we're going to pass on. Timothy Ware for USA. Brad Friedel for USA. Oleg Luzhny. Andre Lunin. Alexandro. Vinny Jr. When did Brazil last win the Copa America? I don't think he's won it, so I'm going to pass on that. Facundo Pellistri was at Man United for a while. Don't know if he ever played a game. So I don't know if that would count. Ah well, we've played it now. Right, are we going to get any obvious answers? We're down into the last 12 players. We're looking for Copa America winners, English Top Division Golden Boot winners. These aren't boding particularly well, let's be honest. Ayala, we're going with it. We're going with it. It's Eric Bailly, Andre Iniesta, Mario Götze, Alan Shearer. Thank God for that at the end there. Thank God for that at the end there. So, wonderful work. We got a bingo. We've got a bingo, and that bingo belongs to John, sir. Beautiful work, sir. 5 points your way. I came second. I'm pretty delighted with that. Maestro, but we ignore me. I don't exist in this list. So, in for that effect, Maestro came second. He's going to get 4 points. Crudmo and Timu came third, so they'll get 3 points each. And then DMB comes in fifth. He gets himself 1 point. Some fabulous work there. Absolutely incredible. Oh, Sherb says he misclicked and said Camavinga was Brazilian. Oh, painful, painful. All right, now we still have one person to come in. Kwan has just snuck in ninth. Beautiful stuff. So that could change. That very much could change. So let's have a look there. Stop beating me, you bastard, said DMB. That's fair. Whoops, that went badly, says Crudmo. Always does that, doesn't he, Crudmo? Doesn't he? He'll score really, really well and then go, oops. I'm only winding you up. So who's postcode? Postcode, I assume, is Rob. Rob is lovely, wonderful guy. You might see him over on the forums on SI. Occasionally active on X, Twitter. But yeah, postcode is lovely. Works as research, does some research work. Awesome stuff. A Nottingham Forest fan as well, so a fabulous season for him. So we've got those last few in. Did we have any changes at the top? We did not have any changes. Marvellous work, chaps. Let's head back on in then. So our next game is against Dortmund. By that time, we might have sold some more players. I'm going to wait until Monday, carry on doing the offering out malarkey. Pardon me. Hope that gives enough time for them to come back and say, no, we're not interested, before the transfer window then closes, and then maybe we'll be able to get them out the door on transfer deadline day. Might be the first time I actually activate transfer deadline day. How about that? So Tyke, how do the points work? As mentioned at the top, the points on the actual thing, it gives you 3 points for every correct answer. 4 of the mini games that I keep a record of, 5 points for the person that came first, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, 1 for fifth. But I ignore me in those equations. Johnson, wahey indeed. Wahey, that was phenomenal work. I think that's the first bingo we've had on the channel as well. Genuinely incredible stuff. Catch 22 is in. Howdy to you. How are you, sir? How was your weekend? Lovely to have you in. Right, let's get most of these guys off here. Sahinovic as well, so we can include them in friendly action. That friendly action sees Sahinovic, Scheffel, McNulty given full games. We're giving a little bit of game time to those guys. Stenbring gets about 60 minutes. The youngsters that should kind of be in the squad anyway get full games. Tosin Adarabios, he's about a month away now. So we can pop him on general rehab. Where is he there? So yeah, about 3 weeks away, which is marvellous. We can decline that. It's now Monday morning. Let's try once more to get these guys out the door. Still no interest there. Let's just say unspecified. See if any bids will be forthcoming. And the same with Skitter. Offer via transfer room, unspecified, and that should be good to go. Right, Mr. Echo, let's truck Georgie Marmadashvili. Okay, let's not check Georgie Marmadashvili. Mr. Echo, we will do in a couple of moments. We've got an ad break coming up now in about 20-30 seconds or so. So I need to go and refill the drink, take a vape, go for a pee and all that malarkey. I don't want us to rush through the lookup. So I will see you guys in about 3-4 minutes. Thank you for the reminder. See you then. Unveil what's behind the curtain. Indeed, welcome back. We're back from the break. And I've learnt that if you forget to click back into the game before trying to write Marmadashfully, it will change to the stream scene beginning with the letter M. So yes, and behind the scenes footage, as I definitely don't vape inside the house. Definitely don't vape inside the house whatsoever. Welcome back. So we've had the look up for Marmadashvili, and here he is. He's currently still at Valencia, and he's having a pretty damn good season. No particular surprise. He's a pretty damn good goalkeeper. Currently conceding 0.71 from roughly 0.91 XG per game. So that's 20 goals conceded in 28 games, 14 clean sheets, which is incredible. 322 games now for Valencia. So he's been there 10 years. 88 caps for Georgia. Currently valued at 99 million, which is incredible stuff. So we should probably look to see Georgia are currently 53rd in the world rankings. They've moved up a little bit. So they've recently jumped ahead of, I'm guessing, Angola are the team they've jumped ahead of, and Poland. There's been some movement. They're obviously not the best team in the world by any stretch of the imaginations. Have they made a competition? So they've not made the World Cup. They did make it into the Euros. They made it into Group B of the Euros, where they drew with Sweden and Wales, lost to Portugal back in 2028, which is pretty decent going. Did they get into any of these others? Let's have a look. They in the Euros before was that as well. So back in 2024, in game they made it as well, but they beat Poland, 2 goals from Kvaratskhelia. Drew with Slovenia, made it through to the second round, where they lost to Erling Haaland-led Netherlands. So yeah, 97 million. He's now 30 years old. Incredible. 21 clean sheets in 38 games back in the 27-28 season is pretty obscene. Maybe we could put a cheeky bid in for him. Do you think they'd accept like a £3 million offer, €3 million offer, and 30 grand a week? We could only hope. We could only hope. Welcome in, by the way, Kamufflon. Thank you very much for the follow.
It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Why, bless you very much. I was just saying thank you very much for the follow, and you come in with the subscription as well. Thank you kindly. Welcome on in. Lovely to see you. If you're comfortable in chat, love to know who you support, who you're playing with currently in FM. But if you just want to lurk, that is absolutely fine as well. So now you want me to move to Valencia and win trophies with Marmadashvili. Surely, if we end up moving to Marmadashvili, we look to cash in on that mega money. Like we should be sending him to the best teams in the world. Surely, Marmadashvili has got to be one of those players that's destined to be amongst the very, 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 very best. Although I suppose that's what you want. You go to Valencia, you want to be amongst the best. So maybe you could keep hold of him. No escape from Valencia, says Cocky Smash. I'm amazed he's on less than 100 grand a week. That's the thing that I think really, really surprises me in that respect. All right, Sherbs, sorry. I just see that you've got a look up there for Ollie Scars as well. We'll have a look at that in a second. Mr. Echo, wait for FM26 because Georgia will already be national team that played in Euros. Indeed. Traction's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How was your weekend? So let's have a look here for Mr. Scars. How is Ollie Scars? It's not looking good. Currently at Accrington Stanley, where he is not a starter. Now aged 25, he has been playing, we can probably guess, at left back. Based on, actually might be further up, might be an attacking midfielder. Hard to tell either way. It's not necessarily done much particularly good. 4 games this season. That's the entirety of his Accrington Stanley career. 2 yellow cards. Prior to that, he spent a loan at Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship, where he did play 16 games, to be fair. He has played a decent run there, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 tackles per game. Before that, he was at West Ham, naturally. So his best season appears to have been the 28-29 season. 13 games in the... Oh, no, that's in the Championship. So maybe that's not his best season. Is it the season in the Kuchen Camping Division with Venlo? 6 goals, 3 assists, 4 player of the match appearances. On his loan, it has definitely not been a good development for Ollie Scars. Sadly, I'm sorry to say. Tamu, thank you very much for the follow, by the way. Thank you. Lovely to have you in, my dude. So Andre says that Mama Dashby is having a really bad season. That's a shame to hear. I still have confidence. Ooh, okay. Right. 2 million euros for Anton Guy. Some of that is after league appearances. We signed him for No, we got him on a free. So it is all profit. He's just not been great for us. We'd lose some of that to the intermediaries. That's fine. Can we get this all in here so it's not after league appearances? We can. Cool. Okay, so Guy can go, and then we've got basically 2 options with replacing Guy. Option number 1 is Hu Yin. Has not been having a great time of it down in the Zweite Bundesliga, but he was solid for us. We signed him last season for 43,000 euros. He was kind of okay playing as a wing back. I'm quite happy with him coming in, but we sent him out on loan so that he get regular game time. So option number 1 is to bring him back into the team, which is cool. Option number 2 is to bring Steve Albert back. Steve Albert is a winger that we trained to be a right wing back. He can't be a defender. Like, he can't do defensive things, but when we were playing with a back 3, an attacking wing back, I don't really necessarily need them to be particularly good at defending. So if we were bringing Steve Albert in, we would be very much considering him as a midfielder only, which is absolutely fine. Promising young player, 20 years old now, currently playing for Clermont-Ferrand. He has been not particularly good. He's been playing centrally, which is very, very weird. Not what we agreed, I don't think. I'm not sure if we did agree anything. We left that to the loan manager. So yeah, some question marks there. Or we can see what the options are here, which we'd be looking ideally for someone who can play as so competent in both positions would be ideal. There's 200 players that meet that criteria, which is great. It's very, very hard though. Oh, I don't want or. That's my fault for being an idiot. There you go. And makes much more sense there. Let's see. Camufflin, so the prime is the smallest I can do for your work. Bless you very much. Really enjoy your videos and your style of commentating. Your favourite club is Borussia Dortmund. You're currently playing with Royal Antwerp. Fabulous stuff. How is the save with Antwerp going? Be great to hear. Awesome. Right, let's have a look there. It seems Anton is on the way out then. He is, I'm afraid. He is. He's so he's been okay. He's been solid, but his injuries have just been so frustrating for a player that's not injury prone. I think he's well into double figures for injuries in the 2.5 seasons we've had, which is just I can't be dealing with that. I can't be dealing with that. So can you imagine if it was the statistics all along, though? Imagine it. It's not the statistics. It's not. Or maybe it is I take it as Roy Hodgson wanting to know how to measure someone who can balance a balloon. Like, he wants the statistics. He thinks it's not the statistics because he just can't imagine what they would be. But the measuring the number of balloons balanced in a wind tunnel on a needle per 90 might convince him otherwise. So Timu, glad you could make a stream. Been watching on YouTube and using the skin for a bit. Lovely to have you in, my dude. Welcome on in. So Den Bassist, right lads, you're all coming into my bedroom whilst I prime some minis. This is not a euphemism, thankfully. 24 indeed. On a Monday indeed. Mondays are for MILFs, not for minis. Yes, the profile of player that we're looking for is quite difficult because sometimes we're going to be using them as a defender, sometimes we're going to be using them as a midfielder. Eric da Silva Moreira fits the bill, but far too expensive. In fact, let's ignore the players who are far too expensive. Let's have a look at Brooke Norton-Cuffy here. Brooke Norton-Cuffy currently at AZ. His contract is due to expire. His wages are quite high. Plays short, simple passes, plays no through balls. That's all right. We mainly want him to be able to cross. And this suggests that he does that quite well. He does lose the ball a lot. So if he completes 36 passes and he loses the ball 20 times per game, he's on the ball roughly 56 times and gives it away nearly half of that, which is a little bit, even for me, that's just a bit too much on the high side for me to feel comfortable. In fact, let's use that as the qualifying thing. Let's say possession loss. Now, fullbacks are going to lose the ball a lot, especially when they're attacking players. So somewhere around 15 probably isn't too bad, all things considered. There were no available MILFs today. Such a shame. Don't they know that Mondays are for MILFs? Balloons per 90, that's what we need. We absolutely need a balloons per 90 metric. Chark says, yo, wait, Da Silva Moreira at HSV, he's a Powley lad, isn't he? He was indeed. He made that move in 2030. So, I mean, we are a long time removed. It does appear that money talks. Well, opportunity to play in the Bundesliga probably talked more than anything else. Spent a long time there down as Vitamins. Even dropped down to the 3rd division for times. He looks like a reasonably good player, apart from the lack of assists. That lack of assists is astonishing, or expected assists anyway. Right, so ironically, our former player is on that list, William Rashidi. Looking ideally for players that would be more affordable. So Armando possibly fills the brief. Left-footed though. Not necessarily. If we're looking for players that are going to be providing the width, I do prefer them on their stronger foot side. So Nils Reber between 100,000 and 4 million might be plausible. He's been playing exclusively as a right back, where he's got 7 assists, which is great. In terms of his creating, he's good. In terms of he doesn't pressure, he seems to be staying back quite a bit, but subsequently is sweeping up, which is fine. Absolutely fine. On loan from Twente. Good creativity, not very dribbly. So I'm guessing that when we look at him from an attribute point of view, he's not going to be that good technically. He's not that good technically. So that does kind of fit in with what we're expecting there. I mean, he is doing that down in the 3rd division, as is Flavius Vladiao, is also in the 3rd division. Closer to the profile we look at. No nonsense centre back though. It is creating. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be the kind of what we're looking for, to be honest. Is Holmgren Pedersen left-footed? No, he's right-footed. Maybe. Right, okay, I do apologise, Blue Moon. Let's look up Oscar Bob. Let's have a look at Oscar Bob. Still at Man City. He is starting reasonably regularly for Manchester City. So Oscar Bob, 19 starts, 12 substitute appearances, 1,600 minutes in total. Playing as an attacking midfielder. But his output isn't necessarily great in an attacking sense. He seems to be coming deep. Comes deep to get ball. By basis of how much he's involved on the ball, he seems to be coming deep and getting onto it quite a bit. He's creating at a reasonable rate. He's not getting into goal scoring positions. He's not taking players on much. He doesn't do much in a defensive capacity. But he has now reached 208 games for Manchester City, 34 goals, not being sent out on loan at any point whatsoever. A solid player. So let's have a look through his career history here. 21 starts last season, 8 goals, 4 assists. in the league, that is. 21 starts in the league the season before. 18. So it seems that his proper breakthrough in terms of starting came in the 25-26 season back here. Then he kind of went back into like more of a backup role. He started to emerge a little bit more in recent seasons. So he's on course for maybe around another 21, 22 starts potentially. So not quite ever made him the place his own, but is also earning 325,000 euros a week and valued at 108 million. Crazy what reputation can do for you. Crazy what reputation can do for you. So Holmgren Pedersen, no creativity. We can pass on him there. Amadou Haidar is on 81 grand a week. We can ignore him. Dietmar Hartenbach from Dortmund reserves. He is a winger who has been playing mainly as a defender. That's a good sign. Doesn't pressure, doesn't win the ball back. Does create. Tackle win rate's okay. Unproven though. I would prefer players at a decent level. I would love Amadou Haidara to be the answer. Amadou Haidara is a player I really like in real life. But a man who's currently earning 81 grand a week and now 32 is not the answer. What about Sparta Prague's Miguel Chaiwa? Playing, I assume, in central positions. As indeed, played at right back for Zambia. So when we look at his pace chart, we've got to look at it compared to the positions he's playing in, which doesn't necessarily help us a great deal. What we can see that there is a concern is that his tackle win rate isn't particularly good, and he's not particularly active in pressuring, which is what I tend to want. He can't cross either. What about Theo Thibault? Theo Thibault is a good name. Great tackle win rate. Let's see, where's he been playing? We don't know enough about him right now. So 86% great tackle win rate, 58% good header win rate for a fullback. Doesn't pressure, doesn't win possession, does lose the ball a little bit high compared to the amount of times he's on it. Is affecting play in the... he's not playing in Liga. He's playing in the National 2 Group B. Okay, yeah, that's not impressive anymore. I was going to say, if he's doing that in Liga, that's brilliant. But not really quite so much now that's all considered. So, Camaflon, you're happy so far? Happy, but you couldn't win the league at this point. The club infrastructure are now all 10 out of 10. We are renovating the stadium with 8,000 more seats. Have 75 million in the bank and are now trying for the league. Sounds like you're set up very, very well. Very well indeed. Mr. Echo says, if we make a petition to ask you to release this skin, how many signings will change your mind? So, Mr. Echo, as I've said on previous things, this will probably at some point become available to Patreons, but it's unlikely to ever be a full public release. And it's all being done piecemeal, so just small bits at a time. As we discovered last week, there are some issues that currently cause the game to crash if you go to certain pages. So it will not even be available for Patrons until I've worked out the solution to that problem. But that's all going to have to come at times when I've got the time to work out and solve more things, which at the moment isn't now. That's Alex Sola, 31 years old. This is what I like as a potential Moneyball signing. These are the things that we want. Great at winning tackles, great at pressuring, great at creating, great at dribbling. The rest of this stuff I can kind of accept. We don't have enough information on him though. I don't know how much information we can get before the window closes. That would be nice to get some more information on. 6 to 7 million, I'm not interested. Samuel Alabi we looked at before. So I think realistically, we'll see if we do get any more information about Alex Sola. And if his value is on the lower end of that, that's now 4 or 5 months out of date. Otherwise, we will look to recall. Our man. That's the idea, at least. That's a Camufflin. What are we looking for player-wise at the moment? So we're just exploring what the options are there for right backs. We are just looking to sell our backup right back at the moment, a right back / midfielder right hybrid. We have a couple of players currently loaned out that we would be more than happy. Oh, that's a much better bid. Yeah, of course I'm going to accept that. Didn't we just have a bid? Wait, what's just happened there? Didn't we just agree a €2 million deal with St. Pauli? We agreed a €2 million deal with St. Pauli, and now they've come back a day later and offered us 3 million. Am I being dumb? Chat, did we just agree a deal? But didn't that did just happen, right? Am I being? Okay, whatever. I'll take that. Right, still can't get anything for Skitter at the moment. So we might end up looking to. I think we've got Skitter down as unavailable for loan, but maybe we end up loaning him out for the last half of the season and see if he can build up interest through playing regularly. Again, we don't necessarily have a major priority in that kind of terms. Right now, he's not really part of the squad anyway. We don't need. If we were to sell him, we don't need to replace him. So that's kind of the element there. So Justinus, welcome in, by the way. Don't stop scoring. Summertime is boring. DJ fucking snoring. England time, bit late for me, but watching all your videos. Keep on going, mate. Welcome on in, Justinus. Thank you very much. Yes, it must be quite late in the evening for you. I'm guessing by your name. It's can I work it out? So I have a problem, Justinus, is that I always get the like Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia confused. I'm guessing you're one of those three. Is it Lithuania? That's going to be my guess. Stenbring is part of our squad, so I'm not going to loan him out and pay his wages whilst he's loaned out, but thank you very much for the offer, HIK. So Crubmo, Tio Tibbo, also known as Terry Tibbs. It did have that feel, doesn't it? Welcome in, Zenergy. Lovely to see you, my dude. If it's not one balloon per 90, we don't want him. Surely it needs to be more than one balloon per 90. Like at least like 3 or 4 balloons. Right. Oh, Zenergy's 1 hour and 19 minutes away from being able to change your name back. Brilliant. Right. Gorbanov, a youngster whose contract is expiring. We will let Gevinak take him. We won't pay for him to play for another team, though. We are very, very persistent in that manner. Oh, okay. The transfer window is actually after the Dortmund game. Shows you how much I know. Zenergy, you literally just logged in to check. All right. Literally just logged in and checked, as you asked. That's fair enough. The quiz confirmed Mustermann's channel is a pyramid scheme. It absolutely is. It looks like you amended the offer and they sent the actual transfer in the next day. I'm sure that I said accept, but it's cool. I am very, very much in favour of this. Right, Kirsten is a player that we did consider for that deep lying forward position. A youngster that hasn't made any appearances for Man United, but has some good traits and is good at jumping. He's massive money though, so we've gone for Waranch because we've got a path for him to join us. Pardon me. Yeah, we've got the pathway for Dworash to actually arrive. We're never going to be able to afford the 24-30 million that they'd want for him to be Kirsten to be signed permanently. So we might still consider bringing him in on loan. No harm in having extra depth for the last 6 months. But we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. I think, just keep an eye. Nighty says odd stuff with the second offer from the same club. It is very odd. So Mufflon wants to know how is Kjell Watton going for the save, and thank you very much. Cockey's Mouch has used player lookup so that we can do that. That. I was just about to say it as well, Quadmo. I was about to say we have a thing, but that's cool. Let's have a look in a second and see how Kjell Watson is getting on. Justin S. So yes, sir, it's Wigo 15. Oh right, okay, yes, the World Cup participant. No need to apologise at all, my dude. No need to apologise. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Right, here we go. So Kjell Watson is currently at Freiburg. He is a regular starter for them. 15 appearances, 1,300 minutes. I'm guessing as kind of more like a central or defensive midfielder. Yep, central midfielder there. He's doing really well in terms of scoring goals. So might be an attacking midfielder. He kind of somewhere in between. Not very good at winning his tackles. Good in the air. Really active when it comes to pressuring. Carries the ball well. Creative. Scoring goals at a great rate. Slightly boosted by his one penalty, but not massively so. So, since leaving Dortmund in the 2028-29 season, 12 goals in 74 games for Freiburg. 7 of them, of course, this year. So let's see, there's three in 32 games, mainly used as a starter last season. The season before, when he was on loan, was also very much a starter. The Dortmund senior team, he made an appearance in the league and 3 substitute appearances, 1 substitute appearance, 7 substitute appearances. Did he ever start a game? He never managed to start a game in any competition for Dortmund before the move. 4 million euros, pretty decent price. His value has absolutely skyrocketed since then. Cracking player, 24. The world is ahead of him. The world is very, very much ahead of him. So the Claire says you also had a glitchy offer the other day. Got a bid at 1 million, offered out to 1.3 million and got 10 plus offers, but got no notification in the inbox. That is odd. That is very, very odd. Coxmas, if we're known for one thing, it's being punctual. That is the German way. Absolutely. Zenergy says, someone pick me a Spanish team to try and knock off the numpties that have a stranglehold on that league. Deportivo La Coruña. They once were a good team, weren't they? It's been a long while. Things have gone very much to pot for them in recent years. So that's my recommendation. Quadmo's gone for Zagath. That's a mixture of Zaragoza. Cock's suggests Getafe. Blue Moon with Las Palmas. Fabulous suggests. Intercity. Zenergy says the same. Intercity. Real Santander. That seems like a good challenge. That definitely seems like a good challenge. So CF Intercity. It's a real team, apparently. It's a real team. It looks like a number of us want to set you up for a very, very long challenge to try and knock them off. Soon we're going to get the recommendations are going to be like L'Hospitalat's reserve team. All you've got to do is separate from the senior side, take them up through all the leagues, and you'll be fine. Pardon me. Says Anthony Modeste at CF Intercity. Is that why you've said Anthony Modeste, or you're just saying Anthony Modeste generally? No, Anthony Modeste is at CF. Interesting. And he's never played for them. He joined in February and hasn't played a game yet. That seems legit. Very, very legit, right. Liam Williams, thank you very much for the follow, my dude. Welcome on in. If you're comfortable chatting, let us know who you support or who you're playing with in FM. Love to hear from you. If you don't want to chat though, lurking is absolutely fine. Please don't feel like obliged to. Right, so Shafel, McNulty, Shiitake, Pavlovich, Linson's back, Stembring, and Hirkens as the last man there. No, we need Muller can be the last man. We're on balance, that's fine. It's a 4-2-3-1, so Nürnberger will be asked to keep an eye on Haraldsson. What's the worst that can happen here? What is the worst that can happen here? So Albacete's a good recommendation. Welcome in, Cortiva, by the way, as well. Nightcrawler. Does FC Extremadura still exist? I didn't know that they didn't for a while, potentially. Maybe Celta Vigo. They have a good academy. Celta Vigo, there's a good throwback team as well. Right, where is the... go out there and enjoy yourselves. Let's face it, lads. We are about to get absolutely thumped. Absolutely thumped, without any shadow of a doubt. So who comes to training overdressed? Anthony Modeste. So Bezembalski's in, welcome in. You need a save idea. Haven't played in a few weeks, but any suggestions are appreciated. Anything other than England would be great. Well, I mean, any of the team suggested for Spain sound like a fantastic idea. You know, someone that you can build up over a long period of time to try and wrestle away control from the Madrid clubs and Barcelona. Seems like quite a good challenge. Or if there's like always with questions like this, what type of saves have you enjoyed in the past? And kind of what do you think it was about those saves that you liked? Nightingale says dissolved. So Extremadura were dissolved in 2010. Really? Crazy. Right, can we counter-attack here? It's Abdullahi against about 6 men. Plays it back to Pazarek. Pazarek inside to Hove, surely. And gets it back to Wimmer. Schmidt plays it forward. Hove. We take a touch or two, and then the pressure starts to come. But we've worked it out wide to Adam Asnu. Asnu whips it in, surely. He does to the far post. Abdullahi with the shot. It's a great save from Petrovic. You bastard. That was our chance. That was our chance. Pazarek with the corner. Sends it in. Can't beat the first man, and Adeyemi will come away with it now. Adeyemi, 1 versus just like 2. Gets past the first. Pazarek pulls him back. That's a clearer foul as you're ever going to see. Booker with the throw-in. Sends it long. Schmidt gets it clear. De Niro tries to play it forwards. It's run through. Can Pazarek get there first? He can. Pazarek turns inside. Finds Guy. Guy's touch is rubbish, but Pazarek gets through. Pazarek with the chance. Petrovic turns it behind. This is what we need, lads. This is what we need. So Mr. Echo suggests Rayo Vallecano or Getafe be dominant not only in La Liga, but also in Madrid derbies. That's proper challenge, indeed. So Zenergy is going to use a wheel spinner to pick from the options. A fine idea. Right, Cam Bosdogan sends the free kick in. Schmidt gets there first. It falls to Bino Gittins from the edge of the area. Curls it off the bar. Haaland, for some reason, ducked out of the way. Yeah, it is what it is. Hove with the free kick into the wall behind for a corner. We have had some good chances so far, but we haven't taken them. And we know how important it is to take the chances when we're on top. Wimmer can't get there to the corner. It falls to Jelicic. Here's Guy now. Guy looking round the outside. Adeyemi makes the challenge. Out for a throw-in. So from positions, it seems like it's been reasonably even. Momentum is kind of in our favour. The shot map shows that, you know, it's only been the 4 shots, only 2 of them in the box itself. You can be reasonably encouraged by that, but let's not say anything until this highlight happens. Here's Torres. Back to Haraldsson. Finds Kone. Kone's got space to push into the box. Feeds Gittins. It's a good save from Hyland. Great save from Hyland. Right, so Liam says your last save was Newtown in Wales because my mate supports them. Not picked up in a few months though. Have an exciting title defence and Conference League campaign as a semi-pro team, including an away day at Chelsea to look forward to. Fair enough. That does sound... It sounds like once you fancy picking it back up, that's a good save to go back into. Absolutely. Camufflin recommends Malaga. That's another great suggestion. A fallen giant. I mean, are they a giant? I know they had that phenomenal campaign that they got themselves into Europe. They spent crazy money and then collapsed under the weight of such expenditure. I don't know if you could ever consider them a giant though, because of like the lack of sustained Success. I am going to say I'm delighted. I am going to bring off Pazarek because he's booked. Yeah, we're going with that. We are going with that. No tactical changes. I mean, we've only had 5 shots. They've only had 2. We can expect that at some point in the second half, they're probably going to perform better than they did in the first. But if we can just shade it, maybe we've got a chance. Not though, with the way that Adeyemi beats his man easily. Haraldson unchallenged into the box, forces the save from Highland. That's not a good sign to the start of the second half. That is for sure. That is most definitely for sure. So you're spinning now and the header goes in. What have we got? What have we got? We have got Quadmo Fan is going to be taking over at Valencia. Beautiful stuff. Right, Kone. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. Bino Gittin sends the cross and Haraldson sends it over. Straight from the kickoff. They have been very, very much at it. So let's take more risk. Let's try and maybe just be a little bit more aggressive in our approach and see if that can help us stem back the tide a little bit. Substitution made. Garcia is on for the injured Bino Gittins. Ryerson with a shot. Oh, we are... Okay, this is horrible. Haraldson with the corner. It's just been effort after effort, and the referee's given a penalty. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We shouldn't have said positive things at half time. That's the problem. Yes! Sorry. Yeah, just there we go. Right, corner comes in. Again, we just can't get the ball clear. We can't get the ball clear. The whole of this 5 minutes has been corners in at that near post. We win the header and they get to the second ball. Or we do that. We get to the second ball and then under no pressure whatsoever head it to the opposition. It has been 8 shots in that first 15 minutes of the second half. We can't say anything to them at the moment. Just because we said some things to Highland, we can now. Let's demand more. In fact, okay. Right, we moved to attacking. They had a penalty. They had a shot from the second phase of a corner. So maybe those changes have helped us a little bit as Torres wins a header, heads it. I thought that was going miles over it. It looped back down. We need to make our changes now, and those changes are going to look like De Niro coming off for Dvorak. Jelicic is going to be replaced by Schafferl. Let's undo all of them. Let's switch around this way. So Asnu becomes the winger. Linson there. Jelicic is coming off for Garcia McNulty. Abdullah is staying off. De Niro is coming off for Dvorak. Pavlovic is coming on for Hovitz. 3 changes there. We move back to balanced, but we increase the tempo. And Manatidis, we do need to make sure that we are marking. So that marking job is going to be done here. Demetrius and Manatidis by Nürnberger. See how we get on into the last 20 minutes of the game. McNulty with a throw-in. Plays it to Rorschach. Schmidt to Wimmer. It's a bad pass. And Manatidis almost stole away in there. We survive for a moment, but can we get the ball through the lines? McNulty finds Rorschach. McNulty back again. Like, as a winger, that's where you should probably be pushing forwards at that point. Pavlovic finds Nürnberger. Nürnberger out to Linson. There's the overlap. It's Guy. Guy, can he get the cross in? He does. He creates the space, sends it into the far post. Abdullah. Are they going to disallow that for offside against Dvorak? There was a foul in the build-up, but I don't know what the foul was. Oh, we've been robbed. We've been robbed, and now Garcia into the side netting. It's a save or a block. I didn't see from the text which one of those things it was. Corner now, Haraldson into that near post area. We get to the first ball. Nobody follows it for that second ball. And Bisek now across to Pacho. Last 10, 12, 15 minutes. We've got one substitute left. Is it going to be Asnu coming off, or is it going to be Abdullahi coming off? It's going to be Asnu coming off. We are going to run poor Jalal Abdullahi into the ground. I still don't know what was up there with that goal. Right, Guy heads it clear. Here's Schmidt. Whoa. Just to be right on that is Schmidt. Yep, that is Schmidt. Schmidt is the man forwards in our defensive. Why? There is no way you can convince me that is right. Here's Dvorak. Dvorak tries to freeze Abdullahi. You're not taking that one away. You're not. Okay, you might be taking that one away. You might be taking that one away.
Jalal Abdullahi, Abdullahi, Jalal Abdullahi, Jalal Abdullahi, Abdullahi, Jalal Abdullahi.
He's onside. He is onside quite clearly. Slots it in under the legs of whoever on earth is in goal there. That's why we kept him on. No, we do the so who was it who said, I do apologise there. It is Zenergy. I'm going to guess you leave your set pieces up to a coach. No, we don't. So our count, we've set it up. The whole, it is a zonal. We have zonal at the near post, zonal at the near centre. We leave a gap for the goalkeeper and then a spot at the far centre. We do have two players set to stay forwards. One of them's on the edge of the area. So our counter-attackers are Abdullahi, Dvorak, Nürnberger, McNulty, Clinton. Schmidt is the 12th player on that list. Of those on the pitch, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he is the 6th option to stay forwards. Aerial defenders, though, is third spot of the players on the pitch. So he should be zonally marking here. Where are the priorities? There is a place where you set there is a priorities of which ones come first, right? Yeah, the priorities here is aerial defenders, then trackers, then counter-attackers. He does appear as a tracker. So as a tracker, he should be he's our top tracker. So he should actually be on the far post, apparently. That is questionable. That is very, very questionable. I mean, he did get the ball that led to the goal. Very true. Very, very true. Here's Pavlovic. Nürnberger at the edge of the area. Sends it over. Sack the set piece coach. Quite probably. So time wasting on Max. I don't want to risk saying anything now. Wimmer into Schmidt. Here's Pavlovic. That's surely we've got 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, ref. It is. Time is up. Time is up. Oh my. Oh my.
Wait for SV Darmstadt, spam the goal in motion. You can feel it every week. Mustard's rejoices, free your mind and join us. Gonna win the fucking league.
I say that with the most calm and respectful tone I possibly could. Because in real life, I quite like Borussia Dortmund. But, fuck you, Dortmund. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. We are now joint fifth. Werder Bremen have a game in hand. Frankfurt, though, don't. They are tied for 32 points. We are ahead of them on goal difference. Freiburg are 2 points off us now. Stuttgart, if they win their game in hand, will be just 3 points off us. There's a 7-point gap between us and Dortmund in fourth. That is quite something. That is quite something. However, we have played all of our games. No, the Augsburg game was away from home. So Augsburg was away from home. Those 2 games have been at home. We do have a run of away games now. Werder Bremen in 5th, Leipzig in 3rd. So they're going to be some tough games to expect this form to continue. But right now, that's feeling pretty damn good. That is feeling pretty damn good. That was a free kick, though. No, should have been. So rebuild Olympiacos. As with every choice of the videos that we do, it's generally based around how teams perform both in real life and in FM. Olympiacos are quite a good team. They're a team that won the Conference League last season, and they tend to win in FM in Greece quite a lot. So there's probably not much of a challenge to make rebuilding Olympiacos particularly interesting as a series. So again, it'll be something I consider, but I don't want to give you false expectations. As Zerachul says, not losing against Dortmund, this stream is rigged. It is absolutely rigged. That's the difference that Musterman makes from 7-0 thrashing to glory. Well, I mean, yes, let's ignore the thrashing, shall we? Let's ignore the thrashing. So Crogmo says, do I need to do a short-haired version of your celebration emote now that I've cut my hair off? No, I definitely don't. Because I don't have the source files anymore. And making that little emote took the best part of like 9 hours. But I don't think I have the sanity to remake it just with a bald head. Right, Maestro's got to go. No worries at all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for dropping by. So Kamufflin, can you get your prime back? Look, I said I like Dortmund in real life, but the having lost to them 6-0 and 3-0 previously, they deserve that. They deserve that. The 6-0 game in particular was very, very painful. I think they had something like 1.8 or maybe 2.1 XG. Just every shot on target went in. Some of them were in like straight at the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper would dive out the way. It was very, very disheartening. So let's have a look. Do we have any more information on Alex Sola? We are still at minimal knowledge. Right, since the game started, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 injuries in 7 years, because it'd be 23-24 season. Torn hamstring is the only one. No other major injuries in that time. So we should feel okay from that point of view. Okay, his asking price is going to be much above the lower range that they're asking for, and his wages will be massive. That we can say no to now. That gets that to an end, which is fine. So Hu Yin has played for us for the senior team already. So we're going to recall Hu Yin to be our backup in that position. We're going to see what the situation is. Do we have nobody interested in Skitter now at all? So that's okay. We'll put loan status onto available. We're going to take part in transfer deadline day in the hope that that means that we can get rid of Skitter. I do wonder whether we could see somebody who can play at midfield or right, who is preferred foot or good with their left foot. Who is Tiago Palacios? We won't have any details about him. Just been released by Estudiantes. Nothing necessarily. So Aidan Lachina was a player we looked at previously. Is he a player that's worth us? But we don't necessarily need someone. But if we have someone who can do what we're asking Clinton to do off the left, but off the right, I think it's worth exploring, seeing if anyone comes up that could be interesting. Not forcing the issue. Armando was a player that was playing at right back that could potentially do that, actually. I just don't get a good feeling about him. I don't get a good feeling about him. That's all it is. So, Mr. Echo, you got trash set by Bayern 7-2 the same day, so it's solidarity. Fair enough. That is fair. That is fair. Have you managed to get revenge against Bayern yourself? So Quadmo says everyone likes Dortmund, don't they? Except that awful song their fans sing before the matches. There is a romanticism about Dortmund. No doubt. No doubt. I feel like I'm not seeing half of Camufflin's messages. I can just see that people are replying to you, Camufflin, but not what you're saying. There you go. Okay. So, yep, you're a Dortmund fan. Your girlfriend lives in Würzburg. And so that's... so I'm guessing not too far away from Kokusmosh. Beautiful. Beautiful. The FMG&G is right. Their sponsor choice this season is a little bit questionable. Right. Is there anyone that, rather than worrying too much about the stats, where we just go, that feels like a player that could be good reputationally? That said, like Yusuf Demir, you think, oh, there's an interesting profile. But he's been shit. Roman Favre is a player that I really liked in real life whilst he was at Brest. Hasn't really made the move over to England very well. Is also a bit rubbish. Oh, a Shabalala. That's a bit of a shock. Currently playing the Eredivisie just as a bit part player, but is being creative. Nothing stands out from an attribute standpoint. Nothing particularly special there. Let's see if there are any players just on a vibes basis, essentially. Like, could we? We don't. He's come up naturally because we don't have full scouting on him there. Now 27 years old. He's not good enough, let's face it, but that is quite fun. In fact, let's just take this off. Let's see if there are any players who maybe are transfer listed that we wouldn't have otherwise been considering. We could bring back Roman Esse for slightly less than we sold him for. Alex here has fabulous hair. Absolutely incredible hair. Not playing any football though for them. In fact, he has made just a very small handful of appearances since signing for Crystal Palace. Goalkeeper isn't going to really impress us. Ricardo Pagano? Not Pagano, Pagano even. Ricardo Pagano. Currently playing for Pek Zwolle. They got relegated. He wasn't very good at Eredivisie level. Luca Raymond is transfer listed. We've only got limited information on him. He is currently playing as a left winger and he doesn't create or score, so we can ignore him. An injured player that I don't know anything. He's out with a cold. Who is Marcus Simonsen? 1 game, 2 goals. Another player just lingering in Stuttgart's reserves. They're doing a very good job of letting players rot and not make the level that they are expected to. A 31-year-old Omar Mamouche. When was the last time that Mamouche had a game? He spent some time out on loan at Spartak Moscow. Did really well there. Never quite reached the heights of real life. So Quadmo, if you guys meet up in real life, 1, it'll be the first unofficial Musterman meetup, and 2, pics on Discord if it did or it didn't happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, not sure you guys want to see my mug. Of course we do. We have to look at Musterman's after all. Well, why do you think I make it so small? You don't have to look at my mug. That's the important part. Zeratul, the beard is obviously photoshopped. I mean, and badly. That's the problem. Such a bad Photoshop at the heart of it all. All right, we're coming down under the bees. There was nothing from a opportunistic standpoint that makes me go, yes, that's what we should be doing. Let's see if we can get any bites. Doesn't look like we can. So let's say I want you to pay all of his wages. That's all I'm asking. Absolutely nothing else. Just cover his wages and we're good. Hu Yin is now back with us, which is marvellous. So a bit unfair to compare me to that glorious beard. You are, I imagine you are far, far better than this glorious beard. Right, we've got an offer for Huge Shafter. Huge Shafter is still expected to make the grade. Could improve a lot. So they've still got some promise there. We've still got some time left on his contract, even if he is unambitious. We will reject that accordingly. I'm still not answering any questions that journalists have to offer. We have an offer for Nathan Skitter, and that offer is really, really bad, and he's not interested in joining Schalke. So let's say just pay us his wages and take him on loan. They said they will, and to do it, they will pay us 5.5 million. Optional. Yeah, I'm happy to accept that. Let's see what happens with that. Guy is being sold. Marvellous. Not worried about any of these. That's done. Gorbanov rejects them. Skitter rejects the loan to Schalke. Bloody hell, Skitter. Bloody hell, Skitter. Right, so FMG&G couldn't think of the word. Blame the pints out. So weapons. Yeah, they're sponsored by an arms dealer. Exactly. It's a bit weird. And yes, the entirety of Ireland has an excuse for getting anything wrong today. They should all be drunk. Probably from the moment they woke up, if possible. So Mr. Echo, makes sense. Well, that's today's reality. Also, German arms manufacturers' actions gone rocket high. Indeed. Indeed. So the quiz says players rotting in reserves are interesting when scouting based on stats. On stats because a decent player can just pop up from nowhere when they finally get game time at a club. Exactly. 100% on that. I mean, quite a few of our signings have probably fit that mold. Is either players that have suddenly broken through because they've spent most of their time in reserves, or players that have dropped out of consideration because they're not playing regular football. But when we go back and look back at when they were, they're actually all right. So there's our transfer dealings done. We've made this is misleading. We haven't made 2.5 million this year because the sales of Roman Esse were 12th of June. So that 22.5 million should be here. That should make it 78 million. We'd make 42 million there. And it should come off here, which would bring us down to about 41.5, which would mean we'd only have made 30 million rather than the 50 million it appears that we've made there. But another bid in for huge shaft up. Bugger off. Stay away from my shaft. Right, which players can we can add in 3 new players. One of those players is obviously going to be Huyin. Another one is obviously going to be Dvorak, and the other one should be Pavlovic. That means Hirkens doesn't make the grade. Skitter obviously doesn't make the grade either. It's a 22-man squad. That's okay in terms of what we've got registered elsewhere. Yep, that all looks good to me. Make sure Huyin is registered there as well. Cool. Cool. We have made it through pretty much unscathed. So Mufflin's asking about Goodison Park, that it is finished. Ready for the start of next season. It's crazy. It's now done. This is really the last few games ever at Goodison Park. Cromwell says it's too small, doesn't generate enough income, and is in an area surrounded by houses. Yeah, covers perfectly. I mean, it is a weird thing that obviously the received logic nowadays is that you want a stadium that is no longer quite at the heart of the community. Like, the whole reason why it's in and amongst houses is because, you know, that's a great central location. But now in modern days, you want to be able to have facilities nearby. You want to have your training facilities to hand as well. You want to have car parking space, and you want to remove as much of the noise pollution that is caused in the local area. And so it's really weird. The move now is to kind of disconnect clubs and their stadiums from the fans that they've been built around. Based on poop. What is that a question for? Based on poop. What have I missed there? Zenergy, I have to admit, that made me chuckle. This is the problem with me being so far behind on chat and having an awful memory, because I have no idea what I could have said that would have made anyone laugh. I also see that Zerachul's had some messages deleted. You said based on scat rather than stat. Right, yeah. Yes, indeed. Right, okay. Sorry, I do see that there is a mystery minigame redeemed by Zerachul. So let's go and do that now, shall we? And what that means is we've got a little bit of Only Connect coming up. So for those guys that haven't been in the streams before, I will explain how Only Connect works. It's a relatively simple concept. You're going to see 4 pictures of players, one after the other. They all share a common connection. That connection might be something like they've all played under the same manager, they've all played for the same team. Maybe it's something a little bit more abstract, something along the lines of they all have the same first name as South Park characters, as it was on Friday. Now, Fridays, we tend to save for the more abstract answers. Today, we are probably going to have something a little bit less abstract. So let's head on over in there and see the very first clue, and see if anyone can start from that point to work out what on earth the connections could potentially be. So this is our very first clue. A man wearing some fine eye black, some glorious long hair. Lumizem, welcome in, my dude. You're not late, you're here just in time. So just to be clear, those pictures at the very start, whilst I explain the rules, they're not the pictures we're looking for, because I'm still explaining the rules. That would be a little bit unfair. And you're not seeing the players one at a time at that point. So Crudmo has correctly recognised, as has Jim over on YouTube, that is Rustu Rekba. So the Krez is guessing, could it be that they've used makeup? Kokus Melch has gone for that it could have been that they stopped a guerrilla fight to play a game. quite like the idea. That's quite cool. Okay, that John, so that is how you spell it indeed. With some funny letters under the, is it on the S, the little squiggle? I should probably realise that I'm quite small on screen. The little squiggle. I'm perfectly sane. Have they all played for Fenerbahce and Besiktas? A fine guess. A very fine guess. It is not that. But you are like, for those that are new to it, those are the kind of things that could end up coming up as a connection. A great guess. So Ash has gone for Romanian. So Lumi doesn't even know who Rushdu is. Fair enough. Played for Antalyaspor. Played for Barcelona. Played in a World Cup third place playoff. All played with Messi. They are all fantastic guesses. They're all above 6 foot. They've played for rival clubs. They've got the most clean sheets at the World Cup. They are all very good guesses, but we are wrong. We don't have it quite yet. So let's move on to the very, very next clue. So Shark says, did you try to convince us of yourself when you said, I'm perfectly sane? I'm definitely trying to convince myself. Squiggly. So Crudmo has gone for that. They all had fantastic eye makeup. Rustu does have some fantastic eye black. That is absolutely no doubt. Lumi has suggested that they're all men. That's quite fair. Now, was it the first and last name start with the same letter? That obviously came in before we changed over. But some reasonable thinking there. So Crudmo has correctly identified that this is Tony Yeboah or Anthony Yeboah. A man that scores nothing but incredible goals. So John says, yeah, not that you were to know, Johnson, until it was revealed. So they've all scored a screamer. Has Rustu scored a screamer? That would be great. Could they all be involved in football? Says the quiz. That's a statement. That's a statement that I can't deny. So are they all AI created? Do you not believe that Rustu Rekber or Tony Yeboah are real? Great players. So are they all right-footed? Are they all Okocha teammates? Have they all played with JJ Okocha? Are they all ballers? Now, that is some incredible time for Koku Smelch to suggest Okocha and then Zenergy to suggest Okocha right after. If it was Okocha, that would be absolutely gutting for Zenergy. So it's a good thing. That the next clue was going to be Mauricio Pochettino, and the one after that was going to be even Campo. Because it is that they have all played with JJ Okocha. Rustu Rekber at Fenerbahce, 1996 to 98. He was at Eintracht Frankfurt with Tony Yeboah from 92 to 95. Is that Paris Saint-Germain with Mauricio Pochettino? Mauricio Pochettino in 2001-2. Bolton Wanderers for Even Campo. So DM Basis says, I'm sure we've had this link before. We haven't had the link before. We have had JJ Okocha as a journeyman before. So I think he was like maybe the second or third journeyman that we've ever done. But he's a kind of player that might come up more than once because he's had such a great career in multiple different countries. He's quite a good geography agnostic option. A lot of people are going to know something about JJ Okocha because there's a good chance he's probably played in your country at some point, even if it's for only 5 minutes. Right. In fact, that is some glorious timing as well, because we've got an ad coming up. So we're going to head on I'm going to head out on a lovely little break, refill the drink that I've just shoveled down my throat. And I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. Right, we're back. Now, I didn't catch who it was who asked, so I do apologise. But someone did ask in chat before the game about the next Coach's Voice Masterclass. So Counterclass, the next video is going to be at the end of this week. It was originally planned for Wednesday, but with preparation for the NL Super League and then the rest of the streams that we've got kind of bunched in at the end of the week as well, I've pushed that back to Friday. I haven't decided yet whether it's going to be one video or two separate videos that will be staggered. We've got Ladislav Almasi's Atlanta versus Jurgen Klopp's Inter Milan, which I think is going to be really, really fascinating. A couple of very, very small tweaks that are needed. Ladislav Almasi's 3-4-3 formation is really, really nice. Works lovely with the players at his disposal. But just making the small little tweaks just to nullify some of those threats that Jurgen Klopp has. And then we've got Crudmo's Everton against George Graham's Arsenal using the retro database, where we'll be looking at kind of the main area where we look at adjusting is going to be about how we approach the press with the trequartista, and so dealing with the idea of, can work rate in a player alone help make up for the deficiencies of the ease off tackles, and whether you commit to it or whether you peel back a little bit. So yeah, we've got that will. So I'm not 100% certain. I was going to do it as a single video. Might split it into two because it's two different subjects, and it kind of makes them both feature and stand out a little bit more on their own potentially. Jabbits, by the way, welcome in. Lovely to see you, my dude. Love JJ. What a player JJ Okocha was. What a player JJ Okocha was. Just absolutely incredible. Right, so we've got Werder Bremen here. We don't need to mark an attacking midfielder because there isn't one. With Guy now sold, we've pushed Pazarek back into defence. We've put Hove out on the wing. Now, Hove isn't a right midfielder. He's not particularly competent in that area, but he can play as an attacking midfielder, right? I think he should be able to do a decent job out there. So we're going to do that to start with before throwing Hu Yin in straight away. So here we go. That does mean that Pavlovic comes in for his full debut as well, which should hopefully be nice. Abdullah has returned from injury just in time. Hilinson comes back in for Keegan Jelicic, who continues to be very, very underwhelming. Dvorak played his part in that. I'm going to drop Dinero. Despite him being our top goal scorer, he hasn't scored in the last couple of games, so maybe just give him a little bit of a break, save him for the Leipzig game coming up in the following week as well. He's almost certainly going to come off the bench, probably around that hour mark anyway. Right. Give these fans their money's worth. Let's go with that and let's head in. The question says, you ask about the masterclass as a compliment on your marvellous Dortmund victory. Well done. Apologies. There we go. And Yonsa, thank you very much for dropping by. I assume you've probably already gone now, but if you haven't, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful evening, my dude. Right, this is going to be a tricky game. Werder Bremen are currently in 5th, and you know I've got a fondness for them, even if it's been a long time removed since the times of Thomas Schaaf. Sickett now with the throw-in. So straight from the kickoff, looks like we're going to be under pressure. Friedel evades pressure, moves it back. Oh, that was an underwhelming highlight, hey? What an underwhelming highlight. Here's Linson with a free kick into the side netting. Gunnarsson had zero chance of getting there if he was able to get it on target. He was good eyes from Linson. Okay, so kind of not much going on at the moment. They've had a couple of pot shots. We've had that free kick. Here we come with a chance. Pavlovic's header loops up and over the bar. Not really a great chance in its own right. Bremen do seem to be having most of the game there. And we can see that we look very much all over the place whilst their shape is really defined. They're having a lot of the ball down the left, down their right, our left. So that might be something we look to address at half time. Could we be a bit too late though? Here is Hansen into Mariba. It's a great challenge from Abdullahi, but we can't make it stick. Ball now has a chance to play it forwards. Mariba back to Hansen. Hansen can get that challenge in, surely Asnu. He does. Schmidt back to Asnu. Can we do something here with the ball? Nürnberger spreads it out wide. It's a little bit loose and it's great red reading by Barroso. Barroso gets it back. Plays it to Cortez. Cortez goes back to Barroso. Drifts inside. Finds Mariba. Mariba's in space. Nobody moves over to that spot. Highland makes the save. Interesting. What can we do to fix that? Very, very specifically. So, Mariba gets the ball. Both Wimmer and Schmidt are paying attention to Bell. If Asnu steps up, that means that he can slip in Hansen. That's absolutely fine. Right, Wimmer is spotting Bell. That's fine. Schmidt has got to recover back into his spot there, right? Instead, he sticks with the man. I mean, even Moretti is beyond Nürnberger there. All right, if we click live, does that get this back? It does indeed. There's the reason why, because Schmidt is on mark specific player. That should be an easy fix, right? Hopefully that's a relatively easy fix. So Coritiba says, do you have the Uruguayan league loaded? I wanted to look up a player. No, Coritiba, we don't have the Uruguayan league loaded, I'm afraid. So we've prioritised, when we started, we prioritised Finnish Diaspora, and then started to look at places a little bit closer to where Mariba, what a goal from Mariba. Oh, what a finish. What a finish. So yeah, we then switched to countries a little bit closer geographically to Germany. Right, so again, that surely you expect. Okay, it is from a throw-in, right? So we know that defensive structure tends to go to pot completely for teams here. So Nürnberger gets sucked in onto Moretti. Pazarek is the man following Moretti because man marking is all over the place. Hove is currently playing as a centre back. Pazarek's there. We've got Pavlovic out wide. Abdullahi. Everything is absolutely fucked. So Nürnberger getting sucked in means that Mariba has the space. Nobody steps out. By the time Nürnberger's got across, it's a great strike. A lovely, lovely goal. So that's no less than Werder have deserved. They probably should have scored with that Mariba chance earlier. Here he is again, having an absolutely cracking game. Friedel into Moretti. Moretti has space to drive now. Moretti pushing into Cortez. Cortez down the left, sends it back to Moretti. Moretti across to Friedel. Another shot from distance. Highland, it's going to be over. There we go. So is that Oscar Cortez? It might be Oscar Cortez. It is Oscar Cortez. There he is, 27-year-old Colombian winger. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back, Kuckucksmausch. You were here before, were you? I'm confused. Zenji, are they both man marking? So it's just Schmidt was man marking, but obviously because Bell had shifted across, he followed him. So let's firstly, Moretti is pushing forwards really nicely, but Mariba is getting a lot of the ball and causing us trouble. So we're going to pressure on Mariba and mark on Moretti. We are also going to just going to increase our mentality a little bit in that second half. I think that's all we need, just small little changes. We'll give it 10 minutes and then we'll look to bring on De Niro and possibly Hu Yin as well. So Hove's rating is a little bit on the low side. He is out of position, so that might well be on me. I thought that he could play there. Might be wrong. But it's also about acclimating Hu back into the first team squad. Dvorak now to Pazarek. Pazarek pushes forwards. sends it inside, somehow comes to Abdullahi, takes a shot from distance. Not the best decision I've seen, but it's made its way through to Asnu now. Asnu cuts inside, tries to play it forward. They're not on the same wavelength, and Verda managed to get it clear. Right, have we started to get a little bit of momentum in our favour? Maybe not. Maybe not. So here come the changes. Abdullahi is being brought off. On comes De Niro. Hove will come off. On comes Yin. So I'm going to push Pazarek further forwards. And then push up to attacking. Let's go one step more and let's see how we go from there. So Camufflin says, may I ask, why don't you have worldwide scouting packages? So ultimately, we focus on the job of our scouts is to give us a pool of players from which we can apply data to. And realistically, I'm going to focus on sending the scouts I have available to countries that they already have knowledge of. We would still be on just Central Europe scouting package if we didn't have scouts who also had some knowledge of France. It's a great chance there for Werder Bremen. So there's no point in me paying for a worldwide scouting package if they're going to be sent out to scout in Germany, or they're going to be scouting in Italy or France and so forth. I'm just wasting money that I'm not going to be using. Right, Bornau out to Vukancic. To Barroso. Barroso inside to Maribo. There we go. We see Linson coming in, making the pressure, which is good. Barroso now feeds Cortez. Cortez spins inside, creates space, feeds Moretti. Maribo on the edge of the area. Highland makes the save. So we've got worse since we've gone up to attacking. Linson's done absolutely bugger all. Going to put you on support. Pazarek to come off. And that's going to be Stenbring. So we're going to put you on attack. Stenbring is left-footed. De Niro is right-footed. Drop down there. They haven't made any changes right now. See if we can get something going. It's not necessarily... I mean, Bremen haven't been great. Most of their chances have been from distance. But we certainly haven't been great by any stretch of the imagination either. So coming into the last 10 minutes, we still haven't really generated a chance. Here's Mariba to make it 2. It's a good save from Halen. Feel a little unfair on Halen to... Okay, he's moved up to 7.2 now. I was going to say, having one on 6.8, he's made a number of very, very good saves. So, Rimmer now to Pavlovic. Pavlovic back to Schmidt. Schmidt is going to play it out wide to Asnu. Nürnberger. Right, Jelicic. Can Jelicic do something incredible here? Yes, he can run into trouble and lose the ball. Oh, come on now. There we go. Stenbring trying to win the ball back. It was a pretty rubbish effort, but at least it was better than nothing. Siket into Arwen. Arwen out wide to Hansen. Hansen into Betts. Betts, no effort to kind of mark anyone or engage with anyone. Just Stenbring made an effort in that whole of that passage. So we're going to put more pressure on at the back end. People are looking very, very tired. So on comes McNulty. Jelicic can play centrally. Okay, so this is now (3-4-3) territory. Those guys stay wider. Rorschach has target forward-esque elements. We'll just pop these guys on support. They are there to support behind. The fullbacks will attack. Cross more offense on, take fewer risks, dribble less, tackle harder, get forwards. Can we get a miracle here? I doubt it. I very much doubt it. But we recognised beforehand this was going to be a difficult game away against Fifth. And it looks like Werder Bremen are going to get the win that they very, very much deserve. So I can't really complain too much. So Blue Lions, are you going to be streaming any of the Super League? Yes, we'll be streaming on Wednesday at 1 PM GMT, which will be the very, very first 2 games. The way that it's going to play is that... are they down to 10? That looked inconspicuous. Right, here we go. Here's Hu Yin. Hu Yin's touch was bad, really bad. The chance might have gone. Or has it? Here's Asnu. Asnu to Garcia McNulty. Garcia McNulty. Wow. Wow, that was a really, really shit passage of play. Hu Yin absolutely in behind. Yeah, I'll take a touch inside into pressure. Okay, we'll get the ball out wide. Cool, I'm just going to kick it out for a goal kick. Yeah, that's a very deserved result. Ah, well. Yes, so the very first game, what we do is we play both games against the same opposition. So I'm essentially playing League Game 1 and League Game 2 against the same opponent on Wednesday. It's probably going to take about an hour, hour and a half, I imagine. So, as for the games afterwards, it really just depends on when the games are and yeah, who it is, what everything's doing. I can't say for certain, but I certainly intend on streaming them all if I can. So Zertril says, I hear the wife is sickly. Got to lurk for a bit while I pamper her to avoid the angry wife. That is only reasonable. And if she's not feeling well, definitely needs some love and care and attention. Right, let's get these guys rested before our game against Leipzig. Which, again, we should probably expect we're going to lose. We saw these before we went on the break. We said that they're games we are likely to struggle. Right, we've got bids coming in for Skitter. 0 wages, 30% wages, 20%, 0, 0, 0, 0, 20, 0, 0. Absolutely not on all of them. Almost offensive. You should try so. Right, Camufflin, then it seems that I misunderstood the scouting packages. If you can show me how and when you scout. So remember, Camufflin, we do data-led recruitment. So data-led recruitment means that I want to be focusing on the leagues that we've got loaded and where their detail level is at full. So for these leagues, we've got this. There is no point in me making any data-based assumptions based on somebody playing in Brazil, because we don't have them at the same detail level that we're playing at currently. So there is zero use for us to do that. So our recruitment focuses are based around the scouts we have. We have 8 scouts in total. We set up 7 recruitment focuses, and we leave 1 scout free so that he can essentially do anything that we ask him to do. And I focus on competitions. So Bundesliga, Zweite Bundesliga, Eredivisie, Admiral Bundesliga, the Swiss Super League, Ligue 1, and Poland's, so the Ekstraklasa. And all of them are exactly the same. Minimal current ability, minimal penetrability, nice broad range. Because we don't have the players in range bit here, that's disabled. I just have scouted players. And scouted players are there for what we then use for our data. So we end up, the setup I use is very restrictive. It's not how most people play the game. So if you are not playing the same way, probably not very useful information for you, to be honest. But it's all about making sure we can build up this pool of players so that we can then whittle it down ourselves. Mr. Echo had to head out for a little back. Drop pictures of my cats in Discord. That is amazing to hear. That's what I'm looking forward to at the end of this stream. Werder Bremen have Sickert. Nice. Have him might have the Berlin save. He's a really good player. So does that mean no Darmstadt on Wednesday? That does not mean no Darmstadt on Wednesday. Darmstadt will still be happening at 6 p.m. GMT. So let me pop back here. As we show on the bit here, I'll just pause it there. That is our schedule for this week. So I'm not online tomorrow. We then have the Super League at 1 p.m. On Wednesday. That'll probably run through till about 2:30, maybe 3 p.m. So the stream will start at 1 p.m. I have arranged to play that game at 1:30 p.m. So there'll be a chance to introduce the team, go through it, talk about maybe all the plans that we have, and then we'll go into the game. And obviously there may be some technical issues as we sort it out for the first time, working out how to use the Dutch KMVB gaming website and stuff that I don't speak Dutch, so I'm probably going to struggle with. And then when that finishes, I'll take a break. I'll change over all my scenes and stuff, and then we'll head back for Darmstadt in the evening. It might be a little later than 6 p.m, depending on all those changes that we might need to do. And then on Thursday, we have the Jazz Manager. The Jazz Manager is now, I've been playing that off stream, as I explained. It's going to be a YouTube series, but I stream as and when I can. So we'll now be in January for that. We'll be moving forward, seeing how that goes on Thursday. And then on Friday, Darmstadt as per normal. So thank you very much. Really great in explaining FM stuff. Thank you. No worries at all, Camufflin. Jabbits, what is the Jazz Manager? Shall I head on over to another graphic? Okay, he should be back in time for the Werder Bremen game. Let's explain the Jazz Manager. This grumpy old bald man is the Jazz Manager. So in Italy, to get your coaching qualifications, to be able to manage in Serie B or Serie A, you need to study at Coverciano, which is the centre of, it's like Italy's training centre. It's where the national team train, but it's also where the coaches train there. And part of the process of going through your training in Italy is that you must present a thesis on the future of football. So what that means isn't just that you write about your opinions about football and your plans, but it must be focusing on what happens in the future, not what used to happen in your day, not what used to be done, but how you will change football going forward. And by the way, welcome on in, Kicker. Thank you very much for the raid. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Good timing indeed. How was the stream, Kicker? How was the stream? And are you all ready for this week's FMNL Super League? Marvelous stuff. So I'm actually currently explaining a save that we're not playing right now. This is going to be a stream that happens on Thursday that we're kind of doing in the background. It's going to eventually become a YouTube series, but somebody asked about it, so we're just talking about the Jazz Manager. So with that in mind, so in Italy you have to present this thesis. I kind of felt that that's kind of pretentious. It's kind of pretentious, right? And Jazz is also pretentious. So let's imagine that we had a coach who wrote their thesis about jazz in football. And the idea there is about providing a solid foundation and giving the players the freedom to express themselves. You know, every opportunity that they get the ball is an opportunity for a little solo. And when you're soloing in jazz music, the rest of the band need to keep it tight. They need to keep it together. They need to work to provide that foundation for you to do your lovely little solo bits. What that means in practicality is that we give a very simple tactic that is focused on being compact defensively. You know, we want to make sure that we work together as a team, and then we allow players to be themselves. So they're allowed to be expressive. It's their traits that dictate how they play. Completely vanilla roles. So things like defensive midfielder, central midfielder, attacking midfielder, pressing forwards. and nothing more complicated than that. And then when it comes to training, we're going to focus on decision making. We're going to try where we can to sign players with high flair, but that's going to be very difficult down in Series C. So that's what we've got in plan for Thursday. But today's not Thursday. Today is Tuesday. So let's head on over to our next game against RB Leipzig, where everyone is out with the flu. We can keep on sending them home, but this team, I swear, like, is having secret orgies, because we'll get one player with the flu, we'll send him home, we'll say, don't talk to another player, don't look at another player, don't see another player ever again, and then all of a sudden someone else ends up with flu. And then we say exactly the same again, and the only conclusion is they're having secret little, like, flu parties together. So great, played some co-op Dark Souls kicker, interesting. Excited for the league, got lucky and got drawn the team I support, that's perfect. Which group are you in, kicker? Which team do you support? Fez, I love the thesis and look forward thing, really refreshing. Like, I call it pretentious, I love it as well. I mean, if you've had a chance to read, like, Antonio Conte's thesis on the didactic use of video, it's really, really interesting. It is very pretentious, but it is very interesting. Jabbit says, this is pretentious, but a great idea. Exactly. Now, I'm trying to do, because it's going to be mainly a narrative series, where I'm trying to do some certain things where I'm going to get some other people involved to do voiceovers, and we're going to really try and make sure to bring through various elements of it. I'm writing some very unique and questionable musically interesting jazz that's going to then underpin certain things. We've got, like, really cool little monologues, going to present it like one of those series review VHSs you used to get back in the day. So we'll have, like, the talking head sections, we'll have, like, clippings in and out of press conferences, we'll have moments with the players, we'll work on some of the camera angles and stuff. Hopefully something that could be quite interesting and different and dynamic. That's the idea, at least. And no worries, Kiko, no need to say thank you. Right, so you've got Pot 28 and Alkmaar AZ, a fine team, great players to work around too. Al Norby says today is Tuesday, he says it on a Monday. A good point. I definitely know days of the week, I think. FMGNG says flu orgies, the latest craze. Indeed. That's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. So is this the equivalent of those role-play Minecraft stuff? Kind of, yeah. So if you think about it, if you see something like The Crew does his season review videos, we're going to be it's all going to be very tongue-in-cheek, lots of dumb jokes in there, but it is going to be kind of role play. It's going to focus on the story rather than be, say, like a guide-based approach. That's all essentially. And you know, Football Manager isn't necessarily the prettiest game to look at, so try our best to find ways of presenting it that'll be interesting and different. That is not being accepted whatsoever. That's cool. Right. Okay. So Kirill, it's like in Russia, people start to make a chicken pox parties because it's easier to have it than young. Exactly that. So Kick Out, you're going to have to get used to the old database. I mean, surely that's easy, because we've had a year with the old database. We've only had a few months, 6 months since transfer windows have happened. It's all good. Right, Koatiba bought a player lookup for Igor Paxal earlier. Perfect, you did indeed. Let's go and do that. Bear me one moment. We're going to see a lot of Igor Paxal over the next few weeks as well. And okay, right. Cool. Cortiba, Blue Lions, you've both redeemed things. Please, can you remind me on Wednesday? I'll see if I can get them refunded. As mentioned in Discord, sometimes my health isn't great. I'm starting to get that little aura. That means I need to end the stream now, I'm afraid. It's all good and fine. It's just part of the course. So cool. Let's do this as we would normally. So I've got to be relatively quick in this. YouTube, we head off now. We should be back on Wednesday at 1 p.m. GMT on Twitch only. Then back with Darmstadt at 6 p.m. I will see you guys